Hey there, Silver Tongue Devil here, and in this live stream we are going to carry on with the 0% profile yet again. So this is part 3 for those of you who have missed it. We're currently on 82 achievements out of the 139. You cannot get to 139 in one run. That gives us 59% progress within the game as proper. For those of you tuning in for the first time, I've basically started the game from 0% and we are still on the same life as when we've started. Because of that factor, there are a lot of achievements that we won't have access to because they won't actually register and start up until our next run. So bear in mind, if you are new to the game and unlocking achievements, they won't necessarily unlock on achievement unlock. They may take you dying, coming out of that run and going back into a new run before they start up into the world. This makes this challenge quite hard. I would heartily recommend anybody who has got to a decent level of progress within the game to actually do this 0%. And you don't have to do it as a challenge, but to do this 0% reset or 0% profile once you are familiar with the game, just to see how far you have come within your own little journey of IDU. So where we're at the moment is we are Purgatory 5. Basically now we are taking the equivalent damage of Cycle 9 because we don't have all of this life bar. So I'll explain a little bit more about that as we get in there. And hello, Indy. Of course you choose me. Why wouldn't you choose anybody else? Right. So. If I can do, I'm going to have a little scope out of this level and see if we can do it. Oh, it's too late now. I've already... I wanted to check my arrows. To do the purist challenge, you cannot use slow time or select. You can't basically do anything fun. So there you go. There's one achievement that we can't get now for this level. But never mind. To be fair, this is going to be, I don't know, it shouldn't be too bad, but we are going to have to start being careful. We've got lots of enemies to kill. Right now, headshots don't matter. It doesn't matter how we're getting our kills, just as long as we're getting them. This is not a scoring game, I might add as well, because we are not scoring efficiently. More so, we're not going to be able to get as far into this game as I would normally be able to because we're just basically underpowered. So, no OP, not this stream, no. There's also, one of the big things to note as well, is there are nowhere near as many enemies because of where we are in the game right now. When you first start the game at 0% and up until about, I think it's about the 50% mark, because we're starting to see more enemies now, the levels are not as dense in population. What does that mean for us in our scoring? That means we need to hit headshots like that. There we go. What does that mean for us in our scoring? Well, if there aren't as many enemies around, then there isn't as many headshots available. And if there isn't as many headshots available, then we can't score as much. Because remember, in this game, every single individual head scores. It's not about kills. Kills themselves are not actually a scoring point. It's that headshot scored us points, and the gold that we got associated with it as well. That body shot didn't actually score us anything, or, well, you score a little bit, you get basically a cycle bonus, but not much. It's why, part of the reason why, for instance, ghosts are literally worth 76 points, the gold number, and... Damn. There we go. Worth 76 points and the little cycle bonus because you cannot headshot a ghost, which even when they're worth double points when you're in the pit, still not really worth it. Of course, it's distance as well as headshots that scores us points here. The further the enemy is away, the more points we'll get from that headshot, providing we hit it. So, long story short, if you are planning on point scoring and you are not hitting headshots, you are literally doing yourselves out of points. Now, as I said, we still want to be hitting headshots because it does the most damage and it's the most efficient way to take enemies out. Keeping control. Keeping control. 2 seconds. I'm sure I've got my trackers on. Yes, I have. Weird. So, ooh, that didn't work out so well. You can see that at distance, those headshots, or at that kind of middle distance at this cycle, those headshots are pretty much one-shot KOs at this stage. Not so much on the knights. We're not going to take Barrage of Needles because it's not really any good to us. There is an upgrade to Barrage of Needles, but I genuinely don't think we'll actually be able to achieve that. It's going to take a lot of time and effort, and I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth the risk. So this is going to be one of our first and more dangerous forays into a pit. So that's this area clear. Now, for those of you who are playing the game quite regularly, you'll see that the amount of enemies that I killed there was probably about 3/4 of what you would get. For instance, there would normally be a couple of archers up here. There would normally be extra archers in that big building. And although we can't say 100% for certain what the trigger is for more enemies appearing within the levels, I'm pretty sure it is as you unlock the different kinds of enemies. So basically, the 2 spaces up there, one's reserved for a normal monk, and the other one I think is reserved for a special monk, a different coloured monk. And if you haven't got them unlocked, then neither appear. So when you've got all of the different kinds and colours of enemies unlocked within the game, then they will start appearing. In the meantime, they either don't appear or they get placeholdered on certain levels. Anyway, let's go into the pit. This is the other place to score. This is one of the places that we've got achievements that we need to get as well. I would like to be able to do this level fast. It's going to be difficult though. There is achievements for doing this without getting touched. We'll get an achievement for doing this because this will be the first time we've done this pit. And there is a time trial on it as well. Now, it's not like we've got any choice here. But the one thing that I will say is, as far as doing the time trials challenges for these pits, so I can't remember what it is. As I said, you know, I don't remember the numbers, I just work here. A lot of the trials that you will get on this game that are to do with... oh, this is good. That are to do with time. If you can do it when the game is at a lower percentage, you'll actually have an easier time doing it. And the reason being is there's not as many enemies. Where are you? There you are. And because there's not as many enemies, we can clear the enemies out a lot faster because we haven't got as many to kill. To complete a pit, you need to be killing, we worked it out as between 88 and 92% of the enemies that are in the level. See, these are the things, like, you know, I can remember those numbers, but, you know, my kids' birthdays, I don't know the years. I don't remember those. Being able to do the simple steps of a Rubik's Cubes, not a chance. But, you know, 88 to 92%. These figures, these are the ones that are etched in my mind and memory. I don't think it's a good trait either, if I'm honest. But I suppose it is expected. So we want to be doing this pit without taking a hit, which is why we're taking it a little bit faster than I would normally like to do. Because we're trying to get the time trial side of things as well. Also note, whilst we are at the early stages of these pits... Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'll bet it does. Anything concerning debts and money, really good with that as well, as it happens. Really good with that as it happens. Getting worse, though. So, one of the things that I will say about pits... What the hell was that? Did anyone see that? The amount of gold that I just got from that headshot. I think we broke the coding. So normally there is 5 incubis per level in the pits on Purgatory. We'll only have 2 or 3 at the moment. Again, down to percentages of completion. These are the factors that allow us... You're going to get frozen, and you are. These are the factors that will allow us to do the time trial of this. One of the things that I agree with one of the greats of this game has said is, if you get knights and skeletons, skeleton knights and skeleton knights and regular knights. Ooh, that's close. Wonder what that was. Was that the trial? Sounds like I think we got the pit unlocked. Pit of Perdition trial, there we go. I think that's the timing one. Might be. Or it might not count that until we actually leave. We do want to be killing a lot of the enemies down here because ghosts are part of the achievement trail. As are incubi. I'm kind of banking on those coming in for us tonight. There you go. So for those of you who are after the ASMR stream of clicks, there's our first. The one thing I will say is, don't expect too many more. But yeah, is it even really a pit? Ooh, super bright. Oh. It kind of looks like it's missing. Overshadowing. Ooh, what was that? Oh, that's the other one that we needed as well. Right, let's get out of here quick sharp. That should be all the enemies dead. Lovely. So, as I said, for those of you who want to, are sad enough to, want to, record that click for posterity, putting it as the message tone on your phone. If you are capable of doing pits perfectly, i.e. not taking any damage through them, that's the best place to start your recording, just as you are going to teleport through that portal, and then just don't move. You'll get the click, and you'll get a nice clean soundbite. That's how I got mine. I know what you're thinking. Wouldn't it be just easier for me to send that file to everybody? No! You want on your phone, you order it, get it yourself. To be fair, I think Beanie's put it up already anyway. Right. What have we got? Lots of wildfires. This needs refilling. Lovely, lovely. And lots of life. But thankfully we're not going to need that. The problem with Barrage of Needles, getting 666 kills with any special arrow in one run is difficult. Getting kills with Barrage of Needles at the best of time is going to be a 1-to-1, and you only get 26 in the quiver. We've already finished Wildfire. You get 45 in the quiver with Wildfire, so it only takes a few of those and you'll already have it unlocked. And then Winter's Bite, yes, they're also low on arrows as well, but I made a point of getting the upgraded version of that unlocked immediately because we need it now. We are going to need it to be able to take on Anakim because, as I said, we're underpowered. We haven't got all the little crutches. Our arrow strength is okay for headshots and distance, but vanilla arrows, well, they are something that you are going to rely on a lot, but the only problem is that we're also going to be relying on the likes of Winter's Bite very soon to be able to take down some of the harder, faster enemies. And the other problem that we have is we are limited in the amount that we can carry. Although I have the achievement unlocked for it, we will not be able to get the full 4 quivers. So note how I only have 2. And I will have 2 for the rest of this run. What we found, because we've done this challenge before, we've done this challenge a few times before, any or the vast majority of achievements that would change the state of the game, so add something additionally, like an extra life bar or an additional quiver, would add an extra asset. You can unlock them, but they won't take effect until your next run. Which is why we literally have Winter's Bite, Wildfire and Barrage of Needles as the only arrows that we can work with. Oh, there's another one. I don't think we're going to need any for this level. Nah, probably not. Should be okay. Can use Winter's Bite in a panic, but we shouldn't really be putting ourselves into a panic situation. So is there anyone... Here's a question, because I've obviously got some game keys to give away. Hands up if anybody hasn't got IDU. Or maybe, yeah, hands up if anybody who's watching and watches reasonably regular hasn't got IDU. I'd imagine the silence here is going to be golden. I've always figured, you know, recently Super Bright haven't given me any keys up until this point, and I figured doing a, you know, the game that we all have giveaway probably wouldn't be that great, but I figure you all have it by now. Even Indy's got it, he don't even bloody play it. Oh, thought one was coming around the corner for a sneaky then. I know, right? For anybody who's watching and hasn't spoken up, the reason why I ask is because, as I said, I've got some keys to give away, which we will do in the normal format, but running up to that, I'll give everybody some notice. Only gave me 3. But, you know, they say beggars can't be choosers. Hello, Jeremy. Yeah, no worries, dude. Fun. You boys, follow me. Yeah, no worries, Jeremy. Glad I can be of assistance. That's the whole point of the video, so it sounds like they're doing the trick. Note how the Orphan's noise has disappeared. I know we cover this pretty much every stream that I do, but it is a very important factor in Orphan killing. The Orphan was laughing, I've moved away from her, and as you may or may not know with this configuration, there's a fuck ton of enemies in there, or not that many, but there's enough to break the rule of 17, i.e. there'll be a lot of enemies that will spawn here and they'll force the Orphan to despawn. As we kill enemies that are approaching us, she may start laughing again. Or as we get closer. Yeah, so now she's spawned. And she will most likely stay spawned. Now, a good way to approach this Orphan, or the way that I like to do it, is to drop down in here. And I want her to go that way, because I know there's nothing that way. That's like the end of the level. And usually... She's being quite obliging today. How old still would you, you little shit? Ah. Nice. Usually if you jump in front of them, they will either teleport or run away from you. There are circumstances where they won't, which we will try and cover. Every Orphan is awesome to flip over the edge. Ooh. Yeah. Possible. I do like flipping them over the edge. You're not wrong, Atham. Know me so well. Alright, let's get this guy done. And then we'll go and take the middle. So there's quite a lot of enemies in there. We could do some breakdowns of levels, because that is quite a big ask. There's a lot of enemies in there. There's multiple ways that we can go about it, though. We could fire an arrow into the middle of that and run away and see what happens. Not a great idea, but not a completely bad one, because you would actually end up luring a lot of the knights out. And as you run away, the knights will carry on chasing you, and the monks will either teleport or stay put. And what it does is the spawns are quite dense. Like, you know, there's four monks there, Abomination, and a knight that we can see, and there's more in all of here. By alerting them and running away, it will pull them apart. And, you know, some of them will make it as far as into here before they either despawn or lose interest. Some of them can chase you all the way back to the top. It depends on the cycles. Hello, Ellie. No, I'm not. No, I was showing you not what to do. So, the best way to go about it, regardless of your level, and especially when you get to the higher cycles, visually alert things, run away. Make life easy for yourself. Now, of that huge courtyard, we are only going to be taking out 2 enemies, and it reduces the overall numbers. Now, I know that there's enemies down the bottom here. That guy can see us visually, and also, I must admit as well, we also don't want to kill him from here, because if we miss this shot, the arrow will whiz down there and potentially alert things that we don't want to. That's fine, though. Nice backed wall. Even if we do miss that, that's not going to alert anybody. But an arrow whistling down here, well, it didn't, but it might. So you want... Well, there you go. What a great example you are. Exactly, you know, if an Orphan falls down without the player being able to see it, does it make a noise? Or if it flips off of the edge without the player being able to see it, is it still hilarious? Yes. Yes, it is. So part of this is, so we've taken out one side. Now we're going to go round and take out the other. And in this way, we can start making sure we can work angles without getting absolutely overwhelmed, because there's 1 or 2 enemies in here. Same process again. Hello, Jules. Alert. Run. This is a good angle because missed shots are going to hit this wall and not alert anything. Your arrows, well, some special arrows can obviously alert enemies through walls if they've got effects that travel through the walls, but your normal arrows will not. However, if you imagine when you fire your arrow, I always think of it along the lines of, as I've talked about before with Tempests, that there is a kind of circle. You're like firing a circle towards with a Tempest, and I think about the sound of the arrow very much the same way, but a much bigger circle. And if the enemies are in range of this big circle that you're firing when you're firing it down there, well, that's when you start hearing noises like that. Cheers, fellas. The other thing that is worthwhile dispelling whilst I'm at it as well, I've seen a lot of people say like, oh yeah, the Orphan gets alerted by you killing enemies around her. No, 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 no. The Orphan gets alerted by the fact that you're firing arrows in her general direction. And the thing with the Orphan is she's got a much wider field of alert than your regular enemies by quite a way. All the enemies in the game work the same way. If you imagine, let's say I was a monk. Basically, this courtyard, but I always imagine it as a circle. This, like, I would have a courtyard. Well, yeah, let's stand in the middle. Why can't this courtyard be circular? I would have a circle's worth of an alert radius, and any player that steps into that radius, regardless of whether... So say the player's here, and I'm the monk and I'm facing this way, that alert radius, regardless of whether I'm looking at you or not, I will be alerted by you. It's almost like a sixth sense. And as the cycles get higher and higher, that alert radius gets bigger and bigger. Not by much, but when you start getting to, I don't know, you're sort of like cycle 10, cycle 12s, it's really obvious to see. Yeah, exactly. It becomes more and more obvious to see. Orphans, I don't think their alert radius changes, but their alert radius is basically line of sight. So if you can see them, then they'll be alerted to you. I believe their alert radius is... The thing is, their alert radius is not like infinite, because an Orphan can spawn really, really far off in the distance, and you'll see examples of this on Desolation is the easiest level to see this. Is like she could be all the way over here and she wouldn't be alerted by us visually, but if I fired an arrow at her, she would be. So, not really that useful though. As a general rule, if you've seen the Orphan, she's probably seen you, which then means you need to pounce. I hate aiming up on the Quest 3. So for the person that was asking, you know, how am I getting on with the Quest 3? I hate aiming up on it. The controllers don't seem to do very well. Nice superhero landing, dude. Well done. So good. That one for the blooper reel, I believe. So for instance, this knight has his back to me. And if we approach, note how they both got alerted at the same time. Even, you know, so the alert radiuses, I do not think, change dependent on different enemies either. Gotta be careful, because they can shoot over that. That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? Perfect. I always make a point of doing the lower levels of this, but you have to be very careful of guys that are on the top at the moment, peeking over the edge and seeing you like that guy did and teleporting down to engage you. As a general rule, if you hug the sides and look behind you as you are kind of traversing, again, if you can't see them, they can't see you, and you're not within that radius. That's the one time when this whole radius thing doesn't work, if you don't have visual. But try and demonstrate. He hasn't seen me, but he has now, because I'm within his radius, and I've got visual on him, and that's enough. Hello, Momenty. I don't think they... I think every enemy's is the same. If I'm honest, I've never really tested. I know Indy's got a VR tape measure, but I haven't got one. So, and it's very difficult within any VR game unless you have the tools to do so, to judge distances. But as a general rule, you usually find that a lot of enemies get alerted at the same point and at the same time, and it just increases based on cycle. I've always looked at it along the lines of everything gets alerted at the same radius, with the exception of Orphans. So, as I said, the only time that changes is higher cycles. Well, I think we're done with Purgatory 1. That was easy. Easy! Now, all these, again, as I say, all these headshots, we've got all the achievements that we can get out of doing X amount of headshots during our run. 666. That one is a very important achievement to try and go for as early as possible, because it gives you your maximum damage. When you know what your maximum damage is and that you are drawing to full draw, you know in rough estimates exactly how much damage... in rough estimates exactly, you should know what sort of damage you are dealing when you are hitting things at certain ranges, and then you get a feeling of, like, I know that guy's going to take 2/3 headshots at this range. Now he's going to take 4 because he's closer. He's only going to take 2 because he's further away. And knowing that will stop you getting damaged. Because if you know the distances and the number of arrows that you can take an enemy out, it then comes down to basically your level of ability as to whether you can match that. It's why when you get to the higher cycles, you do not want to be having long-range engagements with any kind of archers. You won't see any of the top boys. Even Beanie's not stupid enough to start trying to headshot monks across the map at cycle 12, because A, even if he hits, they're still going to take another shot. That then means he has to quickly line up a second shot or already have it flying. And B, if he misses, they are going to be quick enough to recover to be able to do him damage in return. And obviously at the higher cycles as well, they fire faster and more accurately, which is why if you watch anybody who is worth their salt on this game, you don't try and milk points out of your long-ranged opponents at very, very high cycles. Again, as I said, I'm talking like double digits. With the exception of Fangbanger, I reckon he probably still does it. So, but he shoots at some ridiculous ranges. The other problem that you have with most of your long-range enemies as well is they also teleport. So if you don't connect several shots over that huge distance to kill them, they're probably going to teleport down your throat. And at later cycles, one of the things that teleporting enemies have a nasty tendency to do is be ready to put an arrow in your face when they teleport in on you. Kind of like how skeleton warriors sometimes teleport in on you mid-jumping thrust. That's always a lot of fun. I also feel like that's not on purpose either, but there you go. Right. Working the Room by Anakim J. Hartley. So this is going to have to be a proper He does. He does. Yeah, that'll probably get him through Purgatory 6, 7, 12 to 14 hours. So, again, I've been there and I've done that, and I've looked at the game along the lines of, if I can milk every single point out of those early cycles, I won't have to get as far to get the big points. But the problem is, as you get much further into the game, the amount of points double, triple, quadruple for just a section, for just a area, for just a world, for just a cycle. So, although with the damage change recently, I don't know if it's quite as good idea. So, Anakim, work in the room. What will you need? Oh, God, I hope I get this right. Winter's Bite. You will need Winter's Bite. No, confidence now. We can do this. It's only cycle 5, easy. If you are getting to Anakim high cycle and are only now just starting to work the room, you do not want to be learning a new tactic strategy that does have its subtleties when the pressure is on. You want to be learning it when it's easy and then step up through the gears. You don't start off in 5th gear, you start in 1st. This is 5th gear. I've practiced this a lot from the start up until this point, because the bosses get harder and harder and harder each cycle. Anyway, a la per video, because I do it my way, but there's probably better ways now. I teleport down here. I'm hitting slow motion immediately. I'm going to fire 1 arrow at him, and I'm going to hit him with it as he turns. Note how this is doing huge chunks of damage to his health. The reason being is because of the tick damage that Winter's Bite does. That then spawns the first wave of monks. The ticks are still happening on Anakim. We're going to kill these 2 monks, and the next lot of 3 monks spawn because we have done enough damage over the course of that initial Winter's Bite doing tick damage to spawn the first 2 waves of monks. This is part of the reason why Winter's Bite is such a great arrow, is because you can almost set your watch by it as to how many waves of monks it will spawn off of a single hit. Now, the next part of this is, this area is relatively safe / dangerous. We've already spawned archers here, which means archers cannot spawn in that alcove, or those 3. There are still multiple waves of archers to come from Anakim, and they come based on how much health he has left. What we want to do is lure him into this corner and go over here. Note how I am tucked really close into the corner and firing from one corner into another. This is with the hope that Anakim will travel to my last known destination. Line of sight, he's not going there because he can't see me. He's going there because of a little thing that I found out. It's a bit of an exploit really, but I don't know, if it's good enough for the big boys, then it's good enough for me. But he's going there because that's where I was standing last. We are not at the stage where we need to worry about killing knights first yet. We're going to fire another Winter's Bite into Anakim. This will do just enough damage to spawn wave 3. Each wave, when you spawn it, will have 1 more number of archers than the wave number. So this is wave 3, and we'll put a stagger on him as well. This will spawn 4. The reason why it is very important to know the number of archers that you are spawning is so that you can count them as you are killing them. I now know that as long as I don't trigger the next wave of archers, there are no more archers lurking in these dark and dingy archways. I don't want them in there. No, thank you. Right, let's into the alcove now. That was a bad shot. Might have alerted the knights. Yes. But that's fine. There are better ways to do this bit as well. You can kind of do a little bit of a triangle where you teleport to the halfway and then go back down that corner. I'm looking at getting this guy finished up as quickly as possible. Note how whilst we're in this alcove, the knights are not trying to attack me. They are just trying to get down. They are just trying to throw axes at me. Now, at this stage, part of the reason why we stand in this alcove is, see that puff of smoke? That was supposed to be an archer. Because he was trying to teleport into or spawn where we are, he's basically been removed from the game now. And that's just one less archer for us to deal with. However, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 who's technically dead, and there's number 5. So let's take him out of the game. Let us refreeze these guys. Put one of those on him. This might be a bit close. Yeah, that was a bit silly, wasn't it? Now this is kind of doing a bit of thinking on the fly. If you activate waves of archers and there is nowhere for them to go, they will occupy the next closest archway. Oh, you little shit. So in this circumstance, they occupied those two and these two, and there's probably one round that corner as well. Oh, and an extra one there. There's the one from round the corner. I'd like to get the hit on you before you return fire. Thank you very much. Time to move. Yeah, let's freeze you. So this hasn't gone entirely to plan, because I haven't got the resources to play it entirely to plan. But it's not far off. We do need to get night kills at this point as well. That's why I'm making a hash up of this, honestly. So, like, for instance, he's got enough health now. I believe he's got one last wave of archers in him. We want to ideally not have to deal with them. And the way to do that would be to lure old Annie Bobs over here. Probably going to have to get into this corner to do it. Well, you guys stay here. I'll go get help. Excuse me. So, I want to be back in this alcove now. Anakim will go to my last, because I was tucked into that corner. Might as well get these guys kind of semi-finished up, because I do need the kills from them. Probably would have been easier to kill them where I was standing, because this is quite a difficult shot. But again, this is all part of that whole constructing long-range headshots that you can be doing. And what we want to do here is, he's got enough health for us to trigger that last wave of archers. If we stay in this alcove, he won't. The archers will trigger, but they'll trigger over there, because we've already had this one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and all the ones around us have already been occupied once. So the only alcoves that would be left would be these ones. And more often than not, if you are out of the enemy's activation range, i.e. this alert radius that I keep talking about, then you won't have to deal with the last 6, because they've spawned all the way over there. Occasionally 1 or 2 will teleport towards you, and if things go wrong, you might have to leave here, in which case then you would have to deal with them. But again, as long as you know where they are, know how much life they have left, and have Winter's Bites on hand, you can deal. Right? Right. Any point in taking wildfires? No. No, there's not. Bloody wildfires. So yeah, the thing is, explaining it on the fly when I haven't got all the resources isn't the greatest of ideas. In my opinion, before you start doing that, you want 3 things. You want 2 Quivers of Winter's Bite, which we have. You want Hand of God for basically slowing everything that I was just doing down. Be it Knights if you've alerted them by accident, Abominations if they're trying to claw their way down your throat, or actually Anakim himself more often than not, because it just gives you more time to think and more time to react if you haven't got as good a slow time, or as good at the slow time as you could be. And then the final arrow is either another's Winter's Bite if you need them, or something for killing things quickly, or even burning Anakim down quite quickly. That's where your Cataclysm 5 comes in, which you will later change over for Volley 5 now. Because later on, the game of that changes again, but the people that can get to that level do not need me to explain how to do it. It's the people that, you know, are getting to the point where they're going to have to start employing those tactics, i.e. basically Cycle 7. Because Cycle 7, trying to just burn Anakim down with explosives is not the way. 1701 Ghosts is the most annoying click to get, but yes, you're quite right. It's Hand of God is one of the, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best arrows in the game. And the reason being is because it's really good for scoring. It can slow everything down, which allows you to get the headshots instead of panicking out the body shots. And it, most importantly, whilst it slows everything down, it doesn't take the enemy's life away. Oh, hold still, would you? So we've got quite a lot of achievements to get from Purgatory. Hello, Von. Thank you very much. We've got quite a lot of enemies to get on the old scorecard as far as Purgatory is concerned. Knights are just going to keep on coming. We're just going to be killing Knights regardless. Same with Abominations. The amount of Cupids that we have to kill for the next level of achievement is ridiculous. I could farm them from Asmodeus. Well, I don't know. I might attempt that at later cycles. We shall see. Because we're going to have to do it with just slow time and normal arrows, and it's a lot of work for one achievement, and I want the clicks coming, well, reasonably thick and fast. Let's get what we can here. Firing up onto balconies like this isn't a bad idea, whether the enemy has seen you or not. It is a good way to alert some enemies and to bring them down a level. So, you know how I was saying about... Come on, die! You know, I was saying about luring bits of the blob of enemies within a courtyard away. In Paradise Lost, because there's a lot more verticality to the level, it is better to clear a level and then start trying to bring a handful of enemies from the upper level down to you, because we've cleared all of this already. The whole point of luring enemies away is to lure them away from the group, but most importantly, lure them back to somewhere where you know is safe. If you are luring the enemies into the level where you haven't cleared it, well, you're just asking for trouble. The concept with Paradise Lost is, you know, the level is 4, 5, 6, sometimes like 7 separate, well, probably not 7, 4, 5, 6 separate levels of verticality, as opposed to big and long, it's up. And so the tactics just change. And then Abyss is probably somewhere in between. I do like Abyss, actually, because you're having to fire down. Is usually a lot easier. That is... I thought I heard you. That is another technique that you can employ as well. And I've done so when you're in the early cycles, going all the way to the top of the level and then coming back down. Problem is, unless you're really good at rooftop hopping or cycle skipping or whatever you want to call it, or bottom dwelling as Cam does, which is probably the safest technique for it, getting there has its risks to then make things, well, depending on how you like aiming, a little bit better. So what I mean by that is, let's see if we can do an example here. I mean, you don't have to even cycle skip. You just have to take out the enemies that are alerted. Rubbish shots, you guys are. Just have to take out the enemies that you've alerted. So, I haven't even alerted that guy yet, but I can see him, so let's get him. And then we could go up there, take him out as well. And you. And then we could go up here. Let's just dip those for a minute. They'll probably teleport up and get us. And come all the way to the... So this is basically the end of Paradise Lost 1. Hello. Now, again, it's based on personal preference. If you're finding Paradise Lost very hard, a lot of the time it is just practice. But one of the things that you could try doing when you've got a little bit of experience with the level is going. So, as you can see, this is the end of this configuration, and I've cleared it. We could hop across to there, and there's the island. It's also a good way to play in the kind of middling stages, because if you start trying to clear Paradise Lost and things start going a little bit shit, because that's how Paradise Lost works, you can always retreat back up here knowing that it's safe, teleport across to the reliquary, do your bits and pieces in there as far as grabbing life, grabbing areas, grabbing the bits and bobs, and then come back in here and get back at them. The reason why I would come and do it this way is because, like with a lot of things in games, placement of enemies, because enemies do have specific places for them to go, and specific numbers and specific places that they always spawn. Those spawns will be put in play to make the player's life difficult attempting it the correct way. Flanking your enemy, basically, and coming from the unexpected and the unintended angle can make life easier. The other thing to note as well, arrows flying downward are always going to dip and potentially hit crenellations, walls, and floors, instead of arrows fired up, often sailing off into the level and alerting lots of bits and pieces. So that's another reason for it. Also, that I just thought of just then. Maybe it's not a great reason. But again, from up here as well, I can see, because the level has a lot more verticality, I can see a lot more of what's going on, what I have to prepare for, and, you know, can kind of take my time with it because I'm not in the radius of anything. Into the radius. So, nothing down here. Let's go back up this way and come at it and approach it from a different angle. There are usually quite a lot of enemies in that courtyard, but there's one there. And again, remember how I said the alert side of things? There's probably a lot of enemies down here that we're in the radius of, because that radius, think of it like a sphere, not just a circle. And note how he's got line of sight on us because we have line of sight on him, which means we've alerted him. That arrow travelling down there has probably alerted some dudes, which could lead me on to my next lesson if they're going to come along. Note how I was looking here, and both of those enemies, after being alerted, teleported into my field of view. Why didn't they teleport over there onto that rooftop? That would have been a much better place for them to shoot me from, right? The reason why they teleported here is because I was looking there. A lot, not all, a lot of enemies in this game, when you alert them, will teleport into your line of sight. It's a way that Super Bright and kind of Solfar, the original creators of this game, made the game a bit fair and a little bit easier on the player. Let me try and give you another example. This is what I refer to as teleport trapping. So let's see. Have we got anyone around here? Probably killed everyone now. This is another way to divide and conquer on any level. Even Cupids have to obey that rule, that they have to teleport into your line of sight. But because they're a flying enemy, they've got a couple of like additional caveats, a couple of additional reasons. Let's see if we can get a... So let me alert the Banshee, right? Note how there is a roof here. Now, because I've looked at it and she's been alerted, she may have chosen to teleport onto that roof already. She just hasn't done it yet. I'm just going to look in front of me, though. Let's see what the Banshee does. Oh, look. She's teleported into my line of sight. Thank you very much, my dear. And it's through understanding how your enemies are going to work and where they're going to teleport to is you can just make your life easier. Hey, good old pass-through. And straight through his grill. As I said, not all enemies do that. The vast majority of teleporting enemies are forced to teleport into your field of view. Bear in mind, however, your field of view is a little bit bigger than what you can actually see because of the... What's the word I'm looking for? Because of the restrictions of VR and you only having... I reckon the radius that they can teleport into, it isn't 180. They can't teleport kind of like completely out of your line of sight, but they can kind of teleport onto your peripheries and just past it. So it's about 100 and... What are we on the quest for 3? Like 110 degrees we have one looking forward. So I'd say maybe about 120 they can teleport into. Now, you might be thinking, well, hang on a second, that sounds like bullshit. I've had enemies teleport behind me, all sorts of enemies teleport behind me all the time. Yes, you have. And that may be because when you fired the arrow and alerted them, and you're then looking at them, you've then looked over here, they've decided to teleport, you've turned away, and then they've teleported in behind you. So technically, they have teleported into your field of view when they chose to teleport. You just looked away from where they were choosing to teleport. But skeleton archers teleport outside of your field of view on purpose, because they're twats. Right then, let's see what we've got, because we need some Winter's Bites here. Hey, hello. Lovely, 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 lovely. So yeah, for anybody who is looking at the higher cycles and those higher scores and thinking like, you know, I've been to those higher cycles and it only takes you a handful of hits before you die, how are you possibly able to conquer all of those enemies? Well, that's one of the ways. Ooh. 86. Handful of knights, and we'll have this one unlocked because it's very close. Handful of abominations, we'll have this one unlocked because that's very close. And then another level, if I can kill Anakim 6, I'll have beaten my PB. So, problem is, we haven't got an awful lot left that we can actually get. But there are some reasonably easy, well-ish, ones that we can get tonight. Hopefully we get Pit of Despair. Don't know if I'll be able to complete it in 90 seconds. Rushing, when you can only take 3 hits, is not a good combination, if I'm honest. But we've already got the... Let me just check. Because last time we were going fast, but I was trying to make sure I don't get hit. Actually, did I get it? Where is it? Pit of Despair Mastery. Complete a Pit of Despair. Complete the Pit of Despair without ever taking damage. Very, very important achievement. All of the ones that gain you 1 health permanently are incredibly important for your run. But not for us. No, no. We are, within this run actually, getting to the point where should be scoring reasonably well. The reason why my score is very low in comparison to where we are, cycle 5, is because in the beginning, when we had 0%, there are so many things that we wouldn't have been getting, and so little amount of enemies, that it all adds up to a much lower score. I think somebody was asking, you know, it'd be interesting to see how much I can score on this 0% run. I'd say we'll be able to get a couple of million, but I would expect to have almost double that up until this point. Another big factor of why the score is lower is on every cycle we haven't been able to hit every single pit. Pits are where you get 2.5 times the points. That important. That very important. Because I always see the question on the Facebook group, and it's always, how I score? Why your score much higher than mine? I'm further than you. And it's headshots and distance and orphans and pits. That's all it is. And then when you can do all of that, it then becomes about survivability, getting as far as you can. Because the further you can get, the more enemies there are for you to kill, the more points you can get, because the more headshots, and the more over distance, and the more orphans, and the more pits, etc. etc. And a lot of blood lambs. Thankfully I don't need them. Where's he? There he is. I heard you. So, there is an archer alerted over there, and he's firing arrows at me. What direction am I looking at? So if he is going to teleport, where does he have to teleport? Well, to be fair, there isn't anywhere else that he could teleport, but it is going to have to be pretty much bang in front of me. Teleport trapping at its best / worst. Oh, and also, thanks, Von. I forgot about the old battery check. Let me slow time whilst I'm doing it. Oh, on a battery change, no less. You little shit. So, why did he teleport there when I was looking here? The reason being is because when I originally alerted him, at some point, he probably decided, I'm going to teleport on this motherfucker now. And then I went into this corner and looked here, which is why he teleported there. Hello, Weebs. How we doing? So, keeping your head on a swivel is good in some regards to make sure that enemies don't teleport on you unnecessarily and to keep an eye out. But it can also be bad because as you're keeping your head on a swivel, if you've alerted an enemy, you're giving them all these potential possibilities to teleport into areas that you're not looking at. And can be detrimental to your health. Smoking a wet and then we'll carry on. So, any questions, class? So far? I'll just carry on spouting random factoids about the game till I run out, which never happens. Ever. Ooh, I hear an orphan. So, because I've heard the orphan, I've got two approaches. I know she's above me. So I've got two approaches. I can go up there and get her, knowing that there's a lot of enemies down here and that I can probably teleport back here quite quickly with a fairly long-range teleport arrow, which means I could go in there, try and do a load of damage and then just fuck off if it all goes south. Or I can slowly but surely start picking apart the level and taking all the enemies around her out. Now, the beauty of Paradise Lost, as far as the Orphan is concerned, is she doesn't, like, not every single part of the level is interconnected, because A, the levels have got gaps between them, big fuck-off gaps, and not a long walkway. Let me see if I can break it down for you then, Weeps, because I've got some thoughts on that. Technically, they should be some of the easiest. She is well above me at the moment, and we're out of range of those. Let's get a few more of these done. That's all of those lot done. I believe she's up there, so she's going to be on that walkway. Look ahead. She might teleport. No, she's going to cast on me because she's technically... Yeah, I do feel you on that one. There's a lot of levels, actually, where it's kind of like that. But you can kind of limit it based on where you know she can actually spawn. I think she sounds like she's just on the other side of that wall, so we might have already alerted her by firing arrows past her. Are you here? There you are, Lurk. So, as far as Paradise Lost is concerned, one of the reasons why I find the ones on Paradise Lost quite easy is if you can kill the enemies quite quickly, there's not a lot of times when you are not really close to her. And as we know, when you are really close to her, she can't teleport away. She's forced to either run or teleport. Now, yes, the Cupids being in the way is a problem. But note how I think she won't teleport away. And it's not because she's glitched, it's because she is too close to me to begin her ascent, but far enough away that she doesn't feel threatened to teleport. And I'll be honest with you, I could demonstrate this factor that she's not glitched, but Athon knows what's going to happen here if I manage to headshot her. And I like these shots. And note how she's just sitting here. If I got a little bit further away, she would teleport off, or she would try and teleport away. But shit, this one isn't a great example. Oh, I didn't go backwards. This one's not a great example. But bear in mind, that Orphan is stuck on this level. There are ways that you can make him change level, but that is advanced and I don't even think is that useful. But she has to stay on this level and this area. If I got to the end of here, even if I was looking down there, she would have to stay on my level. So the only place that she'd be able to teleport is there. I know, opportunity lost. Would never get that one back, Athon, but there's always going to be another Orphan. You can guarantee that. So, for instance, if she'd have started in this room, we would have safely been able to clear this room of enemies and know that she can get to the end and then potentially stay within this section but not disappear anywhere in particulars. That can be one of the factors that can stop people being able to get the Orphan, in that they lose track of her and she teleports away. One of the things that you can do, abuse your slow time, and when she does teleport, hold it down and see where that golden little sparkly trail has gone to, because that will give you the direction that she's teleported in. All the enemies have these kind of like teleport blur lines that tell you where they're going when they teleport. Or most of them. Don't think Cupids have it. Don't know. Never let them live long enough to really investigate. Don't think they do. Oh, hello. Oh, that was shit. That was also shit. Okay, lovely. How have we alerted you? Now, another thing to note as well. If I was to alert these Banshees and stand quite close to these crenellations, well, I said about teleport trapping. didn't I? So let's say I turned my back on them and faced these crenellations here. Ooh. Little shit. What I was going to say is most enemies have got a radius within which they can teleport onto you. And if there isn't enough space for them, then they won't. Banshees are not aware of any social distancing rules whatsoever. Most enemies are, but the ones on Paradise Lost seem to be able to teleport to within a dime. Like, you know, if I'm standing here and looking at the wall, you better believe that Banshee's going to go in there. Monks won't do that. Monk archers won't do that. Skeleton warriors will, because they're melee enemies. That's kind of a range that they want to be at. So I think, although Banshees are technically long-ranged enemies and have no melee properties, they are an enemy that has the programming of teleporting down your throat. Cupids are kind of the opposite of to how it should work. They are definitely a long-ranged enemy, but they like getting all up in your grill. Oh, come on now. Get those shots in. What we saying? Have I missed any? One of the things to note as well is I still don't know why it happens, but Banshees, after you've cleared an area, are the big offender of enemies that just come back. Like, for instance, I could probably go back through the level now, safe in the knowledge that I've completely cleared it, and there'll probably be just one Banshee left patrolling around. I do have a theory, or one, there can be several actually. I do have a theory as to why that happens. Unfortunately, I can't prove said theory, but I believe it is because Banshees are promiscuous, in that they get around the level. And I think of all the enemies, because I've seen them do this, they can patrol and fall off. And what do we know what happens to an enemy that falls off? After, I think it's about 2 minutes and a half, they actually spawn back with full health to their original spawn point. And I think that's why you can completely clear a level and come back and still find Banshees around the place. I know other enemies do patrol, but they do only patrol a little bit. Banshees can patrol up and down the entire lengths of walkways. Archer monks don't do that. They patrol a little bit, but not much. Knights stand still, looking at... You usually find a knight doing this. What a beautiful fresco. What a lovely piece of stained glass. That's what knights do, until you alert them. But Banshees, yeah. Promiscuous Banshees, they get around. I think we've got everything that we need from here. Right. Masterclass in Gabriel. Gabriel is a very easy boss. First things first, always be in slow time. Secondly, find out where the cat is going to land. The way that you can do that is threefold. The easiest way is to stand back here, keep the game going in slow time, and look up. But you'll also see a circle appear where he's going to land. So yes, usually they do, that's quite right. And they actually do their falling down from a great height animation as well. So I'm really abusing slow time here. But if we're looking up, still got the Gabriel the Fallen. Oh, maybe it's crashed. Nope. Here you go. A little bit more. There is a big shaft of light. And there's the guy himself. So what we want to do is we want to force him off, as we're looking at it, this way. Good one, Ethel. So that must be it. Short-sighted knights. That's why they're melee combatants and can't hit shit with axes. So we want to force Gabriel off this side of the level. The way that Gabriel works is when we are close to him, he wants to be further away from us. He's always trying to get to a point. He is always trying to get to a point where he can attack us from his... what's the word? Optimal range. There he goes. And, yeah, hello, hello, Al. How we doing? So, as far as this part is concerned, Gabriel is probably one of the easiest enemies in the entire game to manipulate. Once we have him at where he thinks he is at his most powerful, we hide behind a pillar. We look away from the enemy. When he does his swooping attack, he does one sword strike, followed by a combo of 3. 1, 2, 3. Note how these sword strikes are actually passing through us as well. The reason why they're passing through us is because we haven't made line of sight with him. He can't hit us with those sword strikes as long as there is something in the way. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the other side of the pillar. Now, this is the important part. I'll tell you about these. Well, actually, let's cover his other attack first. His other attack, you'll see these fireballs spawn above him. As soon as you see those fireballs, go to the other side of the pillar. And I like to put my shield up to make sure that I don't get hit by a... I've been hit and had runs ended by a fireball that's just somehow fucking managed to curve its way round this side. But the reason why you go to the opposite is to put as much of the pillar between you and him as possible. But again, note how I'm trying to keep him out of my line of sight. So, 4 fireballs, we go this way, and we put the shield up this way. Tight in against the wall as well. And you wait for those 4 bang, 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 bang before you re-peek. Now, the other thing, the way that I am controlling him, and I'll show you how I've got him on remote control. Gabriel, go right. Meet me on the right. Good man. Meet me on the left. I said right. Hey. Go on, over there. Over there. And left. And the way that I'm able to do this is I'm giving him... So this is all based on what we said previously with enemies having to be in your line of sight to teleport and attack you. Pissing around with him like this can go wrong as well. I'll explain that in a minute also. But the reason why this works is, note how I've got this pillar in part of my field of view. He is constantly trying to get to where my center of view is. He's got an attack off there as well. This is where it can go wrong. But we'll just retreat to the other side of the pillar and unblock. So if I put my center of view over here and make sure the pillar is here, he should come around to about there. As long as I move and face another direction before he does that, he should come across. I think he got his attack off there, though. No, he didn't. So further I look, further he has to travel. And you can increase the amount that you can make him travel. Make him travel further by putting more of the pillar between us and him and moving our vision further to the left. Where are you going now? Coming this way? There he is. And keeping him like almost on the edge of the pillar. I think you can see that easy enough. And then we'll just change again. And he'll be forced to come back into our field of view. Sometimes, though, when you're pissing around like this, so don't piss around like this. Sometimes when you're pissing around like this, he can go too far one way and he'll carry on. And then he can do his plunge attack on land, which you do not want to happen. The entire reason why we keep him out here is so that he doesn't do his plunging attack. Not because it's difficult to avoid, but because it spawns enemies. So if you've ever had Gabriel spawning enemies on you and wondered, hang on a sec, why the fuck's he doing that? The reason being is because it's what he does after his sword plunge attack. And the problem that you get with him, especially at the higher cycles, is when he does it once, by the time you've dealt with the enemies all around, he's done it again. 1, 2, 3... Unless you have Hand of God, it's probably not worth risking shots in between those sword stabs. We can see that he's going to do that again. We need to be out the way, and I always look 90 degrees away from him to make sure that I have not got line of sight. There's been plenty of times where I've had my nose in the pillar and you can just see him a little bit, and I find that it's when you have eye-to-eye contact with him is when he is able to hit you. 1, 2, slow motion on the third. We'll pop out, we'll give him one of these to speed up the process, and then it's back to headshots again. Oh, that was bad. That was accidental, but that does allow... I mean, that was part of the lesson. When you've hit him with a Winter's Bite, if you are doing Winter's Bite for damage purposes, don't hit him with multiple. Let the ticks finish first. If you watch when he gets close, if I can make him dive again, I'll show you why. Each time you hit any enemy, but especially bosses, because it's a lot more noticeable with bosses, every time you hit them with Winter's Bite, watch this. So we'll hit him with a Winter's Bite. That's doing, and we can't quite see, 260 points of damage per tick. But that's based off of his current health. If we hit him again, he'll start taking the tick damage again, but it will recalculate the tick damage based on how much health he has left now, which means that the amount of tick damage that he takes is considerably lower. So what am I saying here? Let the tick damage finish before you hit anything again with another arrow, if you are using Winter's Bite for the purpose of damaging. If you are using Winter's Bite for the purposes of freezing, you hit them to make sure that they are not going to unfreeze on you as often as you have to. Also note, once he's dead, those fireballs can hit you, so keep taking cover. If he's cast them and you've put the last hit on, just like Anakim can kill you as you kill him. So yeah, don't let that happen. There you go. I would go as far as to say, because of how Gabriel, how easily, and again, you should be able to beat Gabriel on the first few cycles with just Tempest, but you'll get to a point where Tempest is not a very good arrow for the rest of your run. So you then have to start looking at the best way to use your other arrows. Technically, against Gabriel, we don't need any arrows to defeat him. We just need to manipulate him, wait for him to do his attacks, and then kill him. However, if we have Hand of God, which is another arrow that we can use in multiple instances throughout an entire cycle, it can slow him down when he's at his most vulnerable and give you more time to just work arrows into him. So, right, don't need that. Does anybody else do this since I've started showing it off? I don't know. I assume you all do this. Let's pretend that you do. Try and land that teleport arrow into that portal. It's a tiny target. It's a really difficult angle, but you can make it. Well, you should all try. For anybody who's wondering as well, those two skulls between the name means that we are at double damage threshold. That happens from cycle 5 and onwards. Previously within the game... Oh, we don't need to rest in Sanctuary. Previously within the game, the damage, once you got to cycle 5, went to 2 damage per hit that you take. So if I take an arrow or a sword stroke or get clipped by aura damage or a Banshee's magic, doesn't matter what the damage source is, it would take 2 chunks of health from me each time I got hit. Previous to this season, was it this season or was it last? I can't remember. I think it was the season before. Cycle 5 and 6 were double damage, 7 and 8 triple, 7 and 8, 9 and 10 quadruple, 11 and 12 sequential, 11 and 12. Then 13 and 14, you would take 6, I don't know what, 6 potential, I don't know. But you would take 6 damage per hit, and then it would stop. Super Bright have made this game harder since then. Now, when you get to cycle 5, you take double damage. Cycle 6, triple. Cycle 7, quadruple. Cycle 8, 5 hits, cycle 9, 6 hits. So if I can get to cycle 9, we will die in 1 hit from anything. Cycle 10, 11, 12, 13 keeps on going up by 1, so that you do get to a point in this game where if you just have a regular 12 bars of health, you can die in 1 hit from anything. So this game has got substantially harder, which is one of the things that makes the huge scores that you see in the like tens of millions, even more impressive than it used to be. No, it hasn't. Can't have been. Because I've seen silly amounts of... Basically, the amount of skulls that you see on below the cycle is the amount of damage that you take from 1 hit, and now I think it caps out at 12. Previously, it used to cap out at 6 skulls. Now it caps out at 12. And I don't think it's been reverted. Can anyone else confirm that? I'm sure it hasn't been reverted. Because nobody complained about it, I don't think. The problem is, it does make the game more difficult for people who are trying to start from scratch and get to the higher cycles. Basically, people who are learning. For those that are already able to score high, it's usually a matter of not how much damage you can take, but how long you can maintain your concentration. And as long as you can maintain your concentration for a long time, you can score very well. Not wrong, Athom. Not wrong. Oh, did you get alerted? So I was in his alert radius. This is the easier of the barracks configurations. Now, this is a good example here. I don't want to really shoot him here because there's a possibility that I could send an arrow whizzing through that archway if he was in that archway. If I just take a sidestep, even if I shoot and miss, at least I'm not sending arrows whizzing down there, alerting all sorts of nastiness to come and visit. Those sort of shots... I didn't think they had. Those whizzing off into the distance arrows are often why that happens with Cupids. Fucking great example, dude. Well done. Take a bow. Very strange bow. But that's the reason why, like, for instance, you'll be firing away arrows at things and you'll miss one of 2, and then all of a sudden you'll hear that bola, 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 and there's like 3 bloody Cupids all around you in different areas. Or all teleporting in front of you in your field of view. Or if you've been looking around madly and not realising that you've alerted one goes over here and one goes over here and another one goes over there. Hello, Op. How we doing? Thank you. Cookie. I assume that was the Cupid that got the cookie, not me. But yeah. Medals for all. Note as well, he didn't teleport, but he still walked into my field of view. In fact, actually, Weebs, yeah, we can test. We should be able to test tonight. So when I get to the next cycle, it should be 3 damage per hit, as opposed to the usual 2. And then the only thing that we need to know about... Oh. Yep. No, basically, yes. Basically, yes, I thought. But then the other thing on top of that as well is there's a lot that you can be doing so that even if you do miss... Because, you know, let's face it. If there's an enemy in that archway. If you move across to the left and let him come a little bit closer towards you, you've then got this wall to work with. I mean, yeah, you can still miss and send an arrow flying down there, but it's all about maneuvering yourself and your enemy so that you don't send arrows whizzing into the level. I think, personally, that's why Paradise Lost is the biggest spike in difficulty next to the pits, The pits aren't actually that difficult if you visit them early, but you don't really unlock them early. I think it's part of the reason why Paradise Lost, thinking on, is probably the biggest spike in difficulty to a new player. Pits are definitely harder in later cycles because of skeleton archers, basically. And what I said about them being able to kind of break the rules of the game that make things a little bit easier. But look at these shots that I'm sending whizzing off, and I didn't see those two cupids there. Well, that's alerted them now, and once they're alerted, what do we know? We know that they can teleport into or very... So that one was technically still in my field of view. Note how I said peripheries? And if I turn my head ever so slightly, I can just about make him out. So he's not teleporting directly in front of me, but this is why I say that they can teleport in quite a wide radius. So one of the things that I haven't been able to confirm is if that peripheries, that's the word, if that radius that they can teleport into increases at later cycles. The reason why I can't tell you this is because Super Bright don't know, basically, and there's no real way for me to test because I haven't got a fucking protractor. Anyway, so yeah, as long as I'm hitting that guy, happy days. But if I do that, then all of a sudden that's potentially alerted a load of things downstairs that I can't see, and up they come. And it's why I think Paradise Lost is probably the hardest level, is because there's not as many buildings and infrastructure and things to get in the way of, and a lot of the shots that you are firing are up here. The shield's glitched. The shield's not glitched. I'll tell you what I think in a minute. Hang on. The shield's not glitched. It just doesn't work very well for the way that the game registers damage. And I don't think it ever has. And I get the feeling that it's been slightly adjusted over time as well. Oh, we need that. Triple? Damn it. Ah, well. Well, it'd be nice to get the achievement, but not going to get 233, I don't think. So, again, and a lot of the reason why you have a lot of players like myself and like even Beanie, and he's a bloody community manager, and a lot of players like myself and Beanie and back in the day when it was For the Right, and you know, the likes of LG and Big Smith and Jonathan Jimbo and all these names that you may have seen videos of and may have heard of. Oh, whilst I'm chatting, I'm going to kill some enemies because I need to get the abomination kills up a little bit. And this is one way to artificially do it. Keep the action going whilst I'm yammering. That's kind of yammering, right? So, part of the thing with it is, I believe the way that the hitbox works in this game isn't you as a player. You're not like something made of blocks. And I think this is true with a lot of VR games. Basically, I think the way the way that things work is that if you imagine. And the reason why this is worthwhile knowledge is because then you can be, you know, forewarned is forearmed. And also on top of that as well, you can potentially manipulate it to stop it happening. If you imagine that in front of you, you have a sheet. And if something, be it an arrow, magic, or a sword tip, or something along those lines, passes through that sheet in front of you, you take damage. Well, that would go a long way to explain why if I hold a shield here, I can still fucking take damage. Because if you imagine the sheet is here, and that sword has hit the sheet that registers damage before it's hit the shield. And that would explain that. That's my theory anyway, but I've asked Super Bright about it and they've just gone, So... Unfortunately, as I said, because I think a lot of the original team that programmed this game are not working there anymore. Well, it's programming, isn't it? Nobody really fucking knows. And Why would they find out? It's me. It's me asking. So this is part of the reason why I have a channel. I've got to be a little bit grateful for Super Bright not being up with the information. This is why this works really well, the whole pitcher's mitt, and why the Captain America works really well, and why I hold the shield like this, because then it is definitely really far in front of the box. Whereas if you hold it like you should hold a shield, about here, well, that doesn't fucking work. But then there's also the possibility that as you are moving on the stick, you're potentially projecting that sheet in front of you further. Now, the thing is, alright, so how the hell have I come to that how the fuck have I come to a conclusion that there's a sheet in front of me? Who the fuck, hello TT, who the fuck thinks of that? Where the hell are you getting this information from? That sounds ridiculous. That sounds like bollocks. Well, yes. Allow me to explain. Allow me to retort. So you know how if enemies are behind you and you walk away, they're unable to hit you. Now, why is that? It's because the player, again, theory, it's because the player occupies the play space which the enemies can't clip through. But they can still start their attack kind of here and hit your body. What are they not connecting with? The sheet. Now, I will demonstrate that in the future, and I have done on lots of streams. I'm not going to do it now, though, because just like the shield, it's not 100% reliable. But as a general rule, if you had like a train of melee enemies behind you, and you are walking forward and they are behind you, you can hear them running up to you, trying to hit you, and missing you. And the reason being is where their hit starts does not go through the box. Ass is invisible and overreaching. Baby got back in this game, telling you that for nothing. We've been working out. IDU guy been working out. Hitting them gyms, stuffing his thong up his ass for those pics. But not really, because they'll still swipe through you. Right, it's a good question. It's a good theory. I've never strafed away from them because walking away is actually beneficial. But the reason why I would probably say no is because there's been times where I have been side on to enemies and still got hit. Here's part of the reason. In fact, yeah, I probably have to say no. When I was looking at when I did my tips in 30 ticks on this, one of the things that I was kind of hoping for is, oh, right, so if an enemy begins its attack and we looked away, you know, would we completely avoid the damage? No. No, that's that won't happen. Yeah, there is a possibility then that if my theory is correct, if you were like that and there was arrows whistling past you here, there's potential that they might fly through that box. However, I think this sheet. I think this sheet is very thin, so the chances of that happening are ridiculously low. But technically, yeah, they could get the angle on you. So, but then there's also the factor, as I've just mentioned then, if an enemy has already started, like skeletons, their jumping, plunging attack, if an enemy has already started that and you put the game into slow time and turned away, they would still hit you. No, they can't hit you as long as they have started their attack and you are facing away from them. However, if they have started their attack and then you turn, they can. So there may be some sort of element within all of this mumbo-jumbo theory crafting that I'm doing where if they have started an attack which will register a hit and they complete it, it registers a hit, which would also line up with the amount of times that I have staggered an enemy whilst they've been in the middle of an attack, and their attack hasn't actually hit me, but still registered fucking damage. So that's a, again, strong possibility. Ooh, you were a bit feisty, weren't you? Yeah, I'm not going to demonstrate it. You can, however, be hit with arrows. Oh, you shit. That would kill us. If all 3 of those hit us at this cycle, we'd be dead. Just to put into scope how difficult this could potentially be, or not difficult, but how quickly we could die. Because those 3, the Banshees in the game are one of the few enemies that I know can hit you with all of their attacks that they fire off. So, you know, at those early cycles, a Banshee, if it hits you with all 3 plasma balls, can do 3 points of damage. And they're one of the few enemies where you don't seem to get any sort of cooldown between taking damage and not. So, yeah, be aware of that. But then, you know, they take so long to get their attacks off that it doesn't really matter. No one's worried about Banshees. God. But everyone's worried about Cupids. And rightly bloody so. But yeah, as you said, there could be some element of the whole pass-through. I've always found that the pass-through on headshots occurs when you are trying to fire arrows too fast in quick succession. And it's almost like the hitbox for the head disappears, even though you have clearly hit a headshot. Where's that other one? No, he's not behind me. Again, I've got a theory on that, but what I think happens... Oh, hello. When did you get alerted? You must have got alerted by... Oh, no, you saw me, didn't you? Oh, good. Big amounts of points on these guys. You should always, if you're going for a point-scoring run... no, at the moment, 2 damage per plasma Banshee ball. Normally, Banshees are 1 damage per plasma ball. At this stage, they are 2 damage per plasma ball. In the next cycle, there'll be 3 damage per plasma ball. And continuing. And they do get faster, and their homing seems to get a bit better per cycle as well. Now look at this. Here's something new. Ever seen a summoner there? No, of course you haven't. Why not? Because you haven't done a 0% run. No, piss off. Ooh. No, thank you. I do want to harvest that summoner a little bit. Where's he gone? Has he gone through the wall? So, he tried to... Yeah, that's cool, mate. He tried to teleport into my field of view, and then I think skeletons can teleport slightly off, hence why you went into there. Cupids do the same from time to time. They'll be all lined up ready to teleport on you, and then realise that they can't teleport where they are because there's a fucking wall there, so they get put the other side of it. That happens quite a lot. Or again, that might... I try and give, you know, I'm only human. I try and put patterns and logic to everything, especially within a game, because it is based on patterns and logic. Hello. And there is the possibility that it, you know, them doing these things that are abnormal to the norm are actually glitches and not me. And I don't need to justify them. But I don't know, they seem to happen enough that, don't know, I try and put them within the rule set. That's the abomination one. Now we just need to kill another 1,300? Nah. You're alright, thanks. I'll just do that. Right, on. So yeah, the reason why there was a summoner there is usually never... Ooh, that was a bit silly, wasn't it? That skeleton warrior teleported somewhere within my field of view. Again, melee enemy on the peripheries. No, you never will either. Ah, you cheat! Cheat. Ruining my fun. Sometimes they will just run at you, but it depends. And sometimes they'll start their teleport attack. Shouldn't really play with your food. Oh, that one's teleported in behind me. I get, like, that might have been a glitch that he teleported behind me. But more likely, when he was up there, he decided to teleport there, and I moved forward. Hence why he ended up behind me. I really hope they sort the models out for these skeletons, because they're such a cool enemy, and I know you don't get to see them very often, but I think the skeletons of this game and the ghosts in this game could do with a nice little, doesn't need to be major, but a nice little makeover, because they're starting to look a bit shit. The reason why you will never see a summoner there normally, weebs, is because that's always a Black Knight that spawns there. I haven't unlocked Black Knights in the game yet to get me. That's one of the unlocks that comes later, Black Knights being unlocked to be in the game. Some enemies during this run will come in. In fact, we'll go and have a look at the achievements and see if I have got that. I can't remember when the Black Templar Knights come in. I think it's Black Templar. Let's go and have a quick look. We've got plenty of Winter's Bites. We don't really need them yet, but it's always a good idea to stay on top. I might need those for the pits, actually, so let's make use of that to try and get us through the pit quickly. Let's go and have a quick look, shall we? I can have a quick slurp and a smoke. Massive 1.3 million on close to God, that's such a terrible score. Bear in mind, right, Fangbanger is 4 cycles ahead of me and almost 10 times the score. So that gives you an idea. Now, bear in mind, though, Fangbanger is a bit of a exception to the rule. He is doing something that I don't even think some of the top players are patient enough to do. And he is luring absolutely every, well, maybe not every single, but the vast majority of enemies out really, really, really far to get those long-range headshots. Because long-range headshots is how you score. And he learnt that from me. But he's now taking that on to a fucking extreme. I've said it before in the video that I've said Explore Destroy Plane. I'll show you how to do long range headshots, and then we're going to move on just as quickly, because I do genuinely find manipulating that space to get those long range headshots fucking boring. I just want to carry on. So anyway, let's see. So adds ball of lightning, yes. Curse, here we are. Your presence has alerted the Cardinal Order of Knights Templar, so that happens at Abolish the Incubi level 2. The Cardinal Order are the red ones. So the Cardinal Order of Knights Templar are the Red Knights. Now, we have seen a couple of Red Knights already, and that was in Anakim's Knights. And that's because this is the Order of the Knights Templar, them spawning, the Red Knights spawning in Anakim's is based on Anakim and Anakim's level. They are not tied to achievements. I don't know where the other one, which one's tied to the Oratrice Manaki, what is it? Oratrice Manaki, I can't remember. I keep on hearing it all the time. I have no idea what it's off. The Oratrice Manaki. Aurealis Corital or something along those lines. Such a stupid title. Oh, where is it? Your presence has alerted the Black Command of the Knights Templar. So, what does that tell us? That tells us that Black Knights should already be in the game. I don't think we've got this recently either. So that would tell me that enemies spawning within the level is a game-altering effect, just like getting additional quivers. different arrows spawning into the game, getting more life. So I think during your 0% run, you'll always see this weird shit that we're seeing, because the enemies that are supposed to go there can't go there because they are unlocked but not part of the world. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, now my phone has decided to turn itself off again. I don't know why it does this. It's not overheating or anything. Don't get it. Bear with whilst I get you guys back, and then we'll carry on. Right, there we go. I'll just check chat, make sure I didn't, on my other thing, make sure I didn't miss anybody, just in case there's a question or three. And then we'll carry on. 2 hours, factory. Cool, cheers, Vom. Right. Thank you, Vom. So, I would like tonight to be able to get over my PB, which we're very close to at the moment. I think it was 88. And I'd like to get Anakim 6 done, and I will try and do him completely properly. And I'll show you what I mean by that when we get there, if we get there. But I think we've got time. So if we're 2 hours in, yeah, no, we've got time. I can plow through all of that in an hour, I think, possibly. So also note as well, we're seeing a lot of skeleton warriors in just what seems like random areas. Again, skeleton warriors. Like that arrow that I just missed that cupid with, that could cause me a lot of fucking trouble. That could bring a lot of cupids onto my head quite badly. Prick. You might have been seen as some... The thing is, you would have killed 250 monk archers before you would have got to Abyss, I feel, the first time that you played the game. However, if you were to do what I'm trying to do, you would have died at multiple points getting up to here on your first time, on the first time you tried unlocking it. So... But if you were to do it now, no, you wouldn't have... if you were to do it now, as long as you can get to Abyss within your first run and before you've unlocked Black Knights, then yes, you would see the same. Basically, the game has enemies that are supposed to be here, and I technically haven't got them available. Excuse me. Haven't technically got them available. So it puts something else in its stead. Ooh, you little... This is how accurate cupids usually are. But then you say that, and then they fire one shot that is bang on accurate as to exactly where you are, and then another shot that is exactly where you're going. And that's why cupids are assholes. Right, let's deal with you ladies. Ghosts are... Why are you going up so high? It's like they know where my tracking... It's the one thing that I do genuinely find on the Quest, the Quest 3 tracking, is it doesn't seem to perform up high at these high angles as the Quest 2 used to. But that's not too bad a thing, because a lot of the time you don't find yourself looking up with your control pads. What I'm doing here, but imagine I was hitting headshots, is the sort of stuff that Fangbanger's doing to get these huge scores, going up on top of things like this, and then hitting headshots like that, but probably even further away and longer. He's got some videos on Facebook showing you like where you can lure them to. I know the spots, I just haven't made a point of like documenting it, so... because I hate it. So yeah, normally here, one White Knight, one Black Knight. Because Black Knights do not exist in this game, they put a Skeleton Warrior there. Ooh, what was that one? That was the Knights one. PB achieved. So, as long as we die now, I won't have got any better than the last time I tried this. Isn't that great? How can we ensure that that doesn't happen? I just need one more achievement. Has anyone got any achievements for me? No? Okay. Okay. Oh, good. Swear I heard one behind them. That'd been hilarious. So yeah, where these skeleton warriors are would normally be Black Knights. Now here's another one as well. Hello, K2. See, the Abyss Monks, normally there aren't actually many Abyss Monks within the Abyss. But because we haven't got the Cardinal Order here, or the Black Templar Order here, or the Order of Saint something or other, I can't remember which saint it is, the red and white, the red hood, white body archers, because they're not here either. The only ones that we get are brown monks, and then occasionally we get Abyss ones as well. Look, another Abyss Knight here. There's never this many Abyss Knights, and it actually makes things even harder again, because Abyss Knights are actually quite a twat. Because, especially at the higher cycles, because Abyss Knights do the same as the Abyss Knights. Abyss Monks do the same as Desolation Monks. When they take damage, they teleport. They also have a higher health pool, so that there's more likelihood of them teleporting, because they can actually take damage. That was very fortuitous. I have no idea why those Cupids were trying to skullfuck that thing. But, hey. They clearly were. We'll take it. That's the first time I've moved in on dubious acts by the AI in this game. So, yeah, I'd say it's time to go for a pit now. Pit break! Right, that's everything. Was that everything done there? I think so. Did we nail this little sucker? Yes, we did. Cool. The other thing to note as well is where you, again, I've said this in my other things, where you teleport into a pit from is where you will teleport back out to. So, if you can see the teleport, if you can see the portal here, and you can teleport in to it from back here, and we can tell because when you are aiming at a teleportable surface, your drawing arrow hand vibrates. So, like for instance, vibrating now, not vibrating. Vibrating now, not vibrating. Vibrating now, not vibrating. So if I shoot that teleport arrow when it's not vibrating, I'm not going to hit a teleportable area. Whereas if I line it up and it's vibrating, when I launch, I'll hit. So it's actually a really cool. Oh, we've got to be quick here. It's actually right. Bear with. It's actually a really cool mechanic in this game that I don't think anybody knows about. Yeah, no one needs to vibrate. Not in this game. Now we don't need to worry about taking damage here this time, thankfully. Although I do need to kill these enemies quickly. Although I don't, we're going to struggle here because we haven't got the powerful arrows to do this quickly. We've also got an Orphan to take out as well. If I can do this quick, it's worth an achievo. Problem is, to do it quick and kill the Orphan is going to be nigh on impossible. I don't think I should be using slow time in this circumstance, but we're going to kind of have to because of our lack of damage output. I can't kill enemies quick enough. I do know that for this level to count as completed in under 90 seconds, it is just killing the big boy. So if we can get him activated and killed, I think we're out of time by this point. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think... Let's try and kill him quick, though. Just in case. Don't want to die here, if I can help. That was a bit close, wasn't it? No. Nope. I can't remember if I was misremembering whether going through the portal as far as time trial counted as the end or not. With that one, it is killing the incubi. And the problem is, unfortunately, if I'd have been able to do it at an earlier cycle, I would have been able to get that one. But now the enemies are taking so much more damage and we're underpowered that excuses. So... what was that? Oh, Scott, oh, come on now. Cynthia, you must be worldly. Who doesn't like a good skull fucking from every now and again? Yeah, Full Metal Jacket. Some of my favourite quotes from that. There's only two kinds of, as K2 will know, there's only two kinds of folk that come from Texas. Is that not right? K2. So yeah, the other thing that messed us up there as well is the Orphan is definitely an achievement that we can get in range of if we keep killing her. But we might struggle if we don't get every single one, because I will eventually get to the point where I run out of cycles that I can actually make achievable. Does that actually interfere with her teleport logic? I think it does. So do note, look at all those pass-throughs as well, and I think get out of my face, you little shit. I personally think that the reason why you get those... Cheers, Vaughn! Exactly. Let me see your war face. Yeah. Let's just get you guys done. And so what I'm doing now is I'm making life easy for myself a little bit, because I, A, know that I've got another Winter's Bite. That's something that I can't remember. Do you still spawn when you're frozen? I think I tested this, and I think you do. Yes, you do. Do you still do aura damage when you are frozen? I don't really want to test that. There you go. Or well, let's see what happens. Okay, so he loses his little light show if frozen and you are getting close to him. I reckon he still does damage when he's frozen, though. Because I know... Well, actually, no, there's no other cases of that potentially in the game, but I'd imagine he does, because it's an aura thing, and I don't think it would deactivate, because it still... Excuse me. Still hits you even when he's dead sometimes, so... let's go round that way. Yeah, definitely one of my... Full Metal Jacket has got one of my favourite lines of all time from... yeah, one of my favourite lines of all time when he's talking to the chopper gunner and he's basically like, how many, you know... he's talking to Joker and saying, like, you know, I got me 128 confirmed kills or something like that. And he's like, oh, yeah, awesome. You ever killed any women or children? He's like, well, yeah, sometimes. He's like, how can you kill women and children? Well, you just have to lead them less. It's hilarious and it's so dark. Fucking great line. So very dark. But yeah. But then, you know, twisted sense of humour. If you don't have one, oh, you probably shouldn't fucking be here. No, definitely not. It's, I don't know if anybody's stay there. Don't know if anyone's been paying attention to something that's going to be very cool, hopefully, or something that's going to be amazing. Ain't war hell indeed. Speak for yourself, Katie. That's twice now. No, you're quite right, Katie. I definitely put myself in the camp of dick. So, as in being a... Anyway, so... Where were we? So, yeah, we discussed about leading women and children less. Oh, yeah. So, Henry Cavill is going to be doing lots and lots of, well, hopefully the start of. I know, I don't think it is, I think it's been confirmed recently, but he is definitely getting into bed with Amazon now and doing quite a big, I hope, Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer 40k project. So we are going to see an absolute fucking nerd of the Warhammer 40k franchise doing it justice and bringing it to the big screen, and I cannot fucking wait. I can't think of anybody better to do things than the guy that basically walked out of Witches because they weren't sticking to the source material hard enough, and then just pissing all over it towards the end as well. So, and that's a good thing. It's the right person to lead it. Fuck off, weebs. Oh, and who would have you put in then? Fucking Rowan Atkinson? Yeah, I'll bet. Some kind of fancy. Rowan Atkinson as Mr. Bean in The Witcher. Go on then. Go on then, weebs. Who would you have cast in Witcher? Whilst I'm waiting for... Oh, I bet it's because you're a Hemsworth fan, isn't it, weebs? Well, you got your way. The series is ruined. You can go and watch Hemsworth in all his glory in season 4. How's that? Yeah, a little bit, if I'm honest. He's fucking awesome. I mean, like, you know, not in a gay way, like, but in a bro way, right? Oh, well, yeah. The thing is, there hasn't been, there's certain actors that haven't been bad in anything. I don't think Benedict Cumberbatch has been bad in anything. I don't think Henry Cavill has been bad in everything. Granted, I haven't watched every single thing that they're in, but they... I don't know, those two especially, they just bring something to every film that I've watched. Hell, Benedict Cumberbatch, for me, made Star Trek Into Darkness. He is easily the best Khan. And I am talking about the old one as well. I think he's a much better Khan than the old one. And I think he was in the Star Trek series, possibly. Khan, maybe? Don't know. Yeah. Yeah, but big money though, isn't it, Al? Hang on. Alan Rickman. I mean, Alan Rickman is another one of those people. Isn't Alan Rickman dead? How are you going to cast him if he's dead, weeps? But yeah, Alan Rickman is another one of those that I can't think of any films that he hasn't like made. Like Die Hard, he made Die Hard for me. Such a great villain. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but he's probably the only reason why I can stand it. So, not stand it, that's a bit harsh. I have warmed up to it a little bit, but let's face it, it is wizards for kids, isn't it? So, rock on, Voldemort, you idiot. Keep those Horcruxes closer next time, and maybe they won't get you so easy. Scatter them all over the place. Of course they're gonna fucking get them. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, probably. I mean, it is from Disney now, isn't it? So, but yeah, so I digress. The reason why I was talking about it is there's also been some other names as well. Idris Elba is somebody who's going to be, I think he's going to be working within this Warhammer thing. And I can't remember what the other guy is, but it's the one who plays... I can't even remember who he plays in The Boys, because it's been a while since I watched those. I can't remember the name. But he plays Bones. He plays the Doctor in Into Darkness. Star Trek Into Darkness as well. The same one that we were talking about. Come back. So there's three very, very big actors. Or not necessarily big, but very amazing actors, in my opinion, that are going to be kind of front-manning, from what I've been told, from what I've heard so far, front-manning this Warhammer thing. And honestly, the reason why I'm getting excited is all I read is Warhammer and Warhammer 40k, and occasionally like Aliens and Alien Predator, those sort of things, because there's not enough films out there of it. That's the reason why I read them, and there's so many books and so rich a tapestry of lore, and I can't wait to see all of that brought to the screen. And what better person than a fucking nerd to bring it all to, or like king of the nerds, you know? Brilliant. Cannot wait. And then if it becomes popular, well, maybe we'll actually get a decent fucking VR game of it. Who knows? Although, yeah, Warhammer 40k Battle Sisters isn't too bad, but nothing stand out. Yeah, let's... I mean... They haven't ruined everything yet, because Disney have Aliens. Disney have Alien. I suppose they have Predator as well. I wasn't a particularly big fan of Prey. I didn't think that was very good. I didn't want to see cavemen fighting a Predator. I want to see modern military and futuristic fights against a Predator. And as far as Prometheus and Covenant, I don't think they were anything to do with Disney. They were out before the purchase, I think. But then at the end of the day, these licenses just get hired out willy-nilly, don't they? So who knows? Who knows? I'm sure somebody's much more of a buff on these things to be able to educate us in the chat about all of this bollocks. So, but then, yeah, I know what you're saying, Al. Disney have ruined a lot of things, but then, you know, let's face it, without Disney, we wouldn't have Mandalorian, and that's pretty fucking good. What else would we have? Oh, really? Wowzers. It's different. He wants to get published sooner rather than later. These days, AI is going to be fucking writing everything soon, so, you know, get it out before an AI accidentally writes the entire thing. It's like that fucking infinite number of monkeys and an infinite number of typewriters. Eventually, they'll just fucking nail everything. So, right. Let's continue the lesson, shall we? Asmo, once more. Pop the boils, destroy the skulls. As we found out last time, these skulls count towards the Flaming Skull achievement. We still have to be very careful with Asmo, because I haven't got the timer delay on these explosives. I'm going to try and demonstrate the easy way to do this. Shoot a boil, slow time, shoot, slow time, shoot, slow time, shoot. When you are not drawing and loosing, you are in slow time. And the reason being is so you've got plenty of time to react. And you can see and aim. Look how I'm aiming before I draw in slow time. So aim, draw. Oh, that was shit. Fire, aim, draw, fire, slow time, aim, draw, fire, slow time, aim, draw, fire, slow time. And it's the way that you can make it incredibly easy for yourself. And then you can really shine him on by giving him one of these. Bam, bam, bam. But that's just... You don't need to do that, but you get to the point where you can. But if you can use slow time, and you've got infinite amounts of slow time, well, why wouldn't you? You know, it's always nice to practice harder things, but, you know, only when you have to. Let's see if we can get you done with quick. And then one for you. I can't give the lesson quite as easy as I could, because the first part of the lesson is ensure that you have maximum level. Maximum level. Good or not. I prefer them flaccid myself, but you know, that's just me. Yeah, you need to, before you start doing that, like, you don't want to be doing what I'm doing and going in against Anakim half-cocked, Asmo, rather, half-cocked, which I am at the moment, because I haven't got the top level of the Flaming Skull head killer thing unlocked yet. And I do want to get top level done before you start going up against him. And the reason being, it just gives you more time. Oh, come on, arrows! Sort you tracking out, you bastard. Got to be a bit careful. Well, you know, we should be alright. Plenty of time. There we go. Always. Pun always. Yeah, but I think they've got pills for that these days. So there you go. Everyone's happy. So yeah, you want to have that exploding head killer up to level 3. I would argue before you even attempt Asmo, because it makes one of the technically harder elements of him a lot easier and gives you other options and ways to do it if you are not quite as technical with the old slow time. So it is actually one of the last videos that I kind of do need to get round to, but there's no point now because they've changed a lot of elements of the game. I've done a Paradise Lost guide and I've done a pit guide. I don't think Purgatory and Abyss are hard enough to do a guide on, and no one ever goes to Desolation, or at least I know I don't, and I wouldn't recommend you do. And if you are going Desolation, well then that's your fault because you don't have to. So, although Purgatory is feeling less and less like home these days because of that stupid bloody floor. So maybe I'll find myself visiting Desolation more often. Oops. Accidental headshot there. Again, at 0%, there's 2 archers at this point. Normally there would be only 1. You take him out and then nothing else. Because then nothing else, the next wave doesn't spawn. The only reason why I'm taking this guy out is he has a nasty habit of loosing off fireballs at inappropriate times whilst I'm trying to take Asmo's skull out. Oh, also, we need him for achievements, don't we? Never mind. You gonna throw? You're gonna throw. Damn. Get that. at least some damage done on it. Missed. There we go. Yeah, we need incubis for achievement purposes. Don't really... well, I do need these guys, but the problem is... I'm going to have to kill so many of them. Now, hopefully... Ah, you little basket. God, that's the first hit of the night. Can all go wrong from here. But it does allow me, because we've already got all of our perfects, so we don't need to worry too much. But no, I got hit once there, and it took 2 bars of health off of me. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, hang on a second, Silver. Doesn't this mean that you're letting slip? No. I would like to impart on you another very cool lesson. This is all part of the plan. You remember that blood of the lamb that we left on the altar at the very start of the game? Well, that altar is actually here. And if you point your hand down in that sort of area, it will make this grab pose. And if you pull the trigger, you can grab the blood of the lamb that's down there. So the lesson here, kids, is that just because the lava has raised, it does not mean the items that have been left down there have been destroyed. If I remember rightly, there was another health down there as well. And so this is why when you get to the end of a level, if you've been paying attention or not, it is worth sweeping your hand across the area just in case there's any items down there that have spawned. There was a time when there used to be secret items right at the bottom of the level. Extra arrows, sometimes extra health, even extra armor down there. But they took those out, unfortunately. So I don't know what season that was, but it made Asmo and the beginning of your next cycle a little easier. No worries, Cynthia. See, that's why I thought what I should do here is take a hit from an abomination on purpose, right? On purpose. Yeah, all on purpose. So, there you go, weebs. 3 skulls now. Purgatory 6. Normally, it would be 5 and 6. Then we would move up to 3 damage. Oh, fuck. K2 knows my shit. Damn it. K2 knows my bollocks. Of course she does. Or my level of bollocks. Oh, there's no way I can say it in a particularly flattering way, is there? So I'll just be quiet. Just be quiet now. Right, so on with Purgatory Cycle 6. So, at this point now, we are dead in 2 hits. That's right, 2. Now, that's still not too bad. No, that's alright, mate. That's alright. Even as a very experienced player on this game and someone who is capable of going to these higher level cycles, even I don't really agree with that choice. The thing is, do you know who it was that stopped Super Bright doing this, what we have now, a couple of seasons back? It was Beanie who told them to fuck off and said no. You know, people still need to be able to take hits so that they can get to the higher levels and cycles so we can see more score. I think it was just a Quest 3 thing, I think. So again, note how Abomination here, I could have fought him down there. Where is he going? I don't know. But if I draw him back so that even if I miss him now, my arrows aren't flying off and alerting all the nasty in that room, because they would. But yeah, you're not missing out on anything, mate. If I have my way, I'm going to try and make Super Bright change them to something a little more, I don't know, suitable, fitting. If they do a good job on the walls, it might work, but I still think it looks too pristine for what we had. But I don't know. That's just my interpretation. Or, well, no, it's not even my interpretation. This is their interpretation of what they think purgatory is. Ooh, another winter's bite. So, note how far away these guys are getting alerted by me now. That feels... Or... Not feels, that is a little bit further away. And then note how the arrows brought the rest of them in. So here's something that you have to start thinking about when you get to those higher cycles. Slow time management of multiple enemies so that you can kind of keep the plates spinning and juggle. Oh, what's the slippery floor? And juggle multiple enemies between slow time. It's something that Camille actually did a very good lesson on, in that, like, you hit one slow time, turn back to the other and hit them. This is another reason why we go for headshots, because other than abominations, when they can take enough damage, because I don't think an abomination can take 2 headshots at cycle until we get to like cycle 8, maybe 9, at close range anyway. The reason why we also want to be aiming for headshots is because headshots stagger enemies for longer. Let me demonstrate with a couple of monks. This is stupid. So if I shoot him with a body shot and him with a headshot at roughly the same time, note how he's ready to fire now. That guy's still beside himself with an arrow in his face. And that therein lies an important... Ah, bugger. Therein lies an important lesson. Good job that blood was there. Getting lax now doing these lessons. Oh, hello, thank you very much. Hey, it's like nothing ever happened. So we did actually take 3 points of damage there, but one of those 2 Bloods of the Lamb healed us for 2. This is the one thing that we have got going in our favour at the moment. 3 points of damage, 4 and 5 points of damage does seem like a lot, but at least I can still take 2 hits. So I can kind of be a bit relaxed. We'll find out what happens in the Pit of Immolation next. That's going to be possibly tragic. We shall see. So, alright. But see this kind of headshot plate spinning that I'm doing? Keeping them headshotted and staggered so that I can take them out. Headshot and body shot. I'm watching normal time. He's ready to go already, even though he was hit. Well, he was hit afterwards. That guy's still reeling. That's and it's the same. It's the same on lots of other enemies as well. And I think SB changed the damage after someone scored 100 million. Okay, yeah. Cam skipped to cycle 53. That had nothing to do with it. I don't think, as far as people are getting, had anything to do with the changes. From what I know, from what Beanie told me several seasons back, this was Super Bright's original plan. So I think they've just stuck with their original plan. Because this is one of the things that we do have to face, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, is game developers have their own set of ideas and how they perceive a game to be and what they want from a game. And ultimately, these are their choices and their decisions. Hell, I can sympathise with that because... Oh, I went through the hood. I can sympathise with that a lot because obviously, you know, I have a channel where I try, and do stick to that. I put out the videos that I want. I make the videos that I want. I do the things that I want to do. With one recent exception, but I did get paid and I didn't have to say it was good or bad. So, however, Micro Machines isn't too bad if you're into that sort of thing. But within reason, I get to do the things that I want to do. And nobody tells me, hello, Richard. I'll explain in just Yeah, no worries, dude. I'll show it off live in just a minute. But yeah, I remember him telling me as well. They do, but it's like everything. Like, you know, I listen to what you guys tell me feedback-wise, and, like, I get on the comments within the videos and bits and pieces. But ultimately, my channel all started off with, I'm going to do videos that amuse me. I'm going to do things that I want to do. I'm going to do all the things that I want to do. And if other people like it, happy days. If they don't, they can go they can give me some constructive feedback. So, and maybe I'll change it. But that's part of the reason why, I don't know, I don't think I'll ever experience this burnout that content creators get. Hence me being a humble... Fawn's not here, is she? A humble video DJ. I don't think I can get imposter syndrome that I hear a lot of these higher level content creators get, because, I don't know, I'm just doing what I want to do. And yeah, but you know, it's early days yet. I'm sure there's plenty of time for imposter syndrome. Although, when it comes along, I won't even notice. I'll be too busy looking good. That's a line from a film. That's not actually how I am. Anyway, Richard, right, you wanted to see some... Or is it paraphrasing a film? Top marks if you can get it. Anyway, so, slow time. How do you put the game into slow time? Simple answer is quiver select, which is on either line. I still don't know what the letters are on the buttons. X or Y. Oh, cheers, Vaughn. Oh, I thought, yeah, cheers, Vaughn. Thought I was going to be able to get away with pie for a moment there, and Kim's ready to serve. So to put the game into slow time, you press, and for you, Richard, and obviously anyone else who's watching, to put the game into slow time, because I haven't covered that yet, you press and hold the quiver select button. If you... Thanks, Weebs. I'll never say it, ever. So, or try not to anyway. Get others to say it if they really want to. So, if I press and hold the quiver select button, it puts the game into slow time. You can see that these guys are walking slowly when I've got it on. However, when you press and hold that button, it only puts the game into slow time for about 5 seconds. After that, you can still be holding the quiver select button, but the game will return to normal speed. So what do we want to do then? What we're aiming for, and I'll try and demonstrate, slow time, still holding it down, not slow time, while still holding it down. And what we're aiming for is shot, slow time, shot, slow time, shot, slow time, shot, slow time. And I've obviously been doing this for many, many years now, so this is quite a practiced skill where I can basically put the game into continual slow time. One of the things that you do have to, and like the best place to practice is anywhere that you want to, but the way that I built this skill up to an acceptable level was during Siege of Heaven, because you kind of need to be constantly having the game in slow time to be able to score well. But you can then take that on to many, many levels again, and it's part of the reason why when you are drawing an arrow, you can press the slow time or quiver select button, but notice how my arrows are changing when I press it now, and the game, even when I hold it, is not entering slow time. And the reason being is, whilst you have an arrow engaged on the bow or drawn, so here, 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 or anywhere, exactly, when you have when you have an arrow on the draw or live on the bow, you can't put the game into slow time. So then that kind of gives you your boundary. That gives you your operational time for slow time. And then that is to fire, and immediately upon the release of that shot, hit the slow time button. And then when you are ready to draw, let go, fire, and press it again. When you let go, fire, do it again. The thing that I think a lot of people struggle with as far as slow time is concerned is maybe holding onto the arrow too long and trying to aim it. because whilst you're doing this, you can't slow time. But this is part of the reason why I've developed, well, not a style. I think I'm not the only person who does it. Like, you know, Beanie always jokingly says, like, oh, your accuracy's rubbish. He's quite right, actually. It kind of is. But I don't care, because in the time that it takes me to fire all of these inaccurate arrows, he's fired 2. Now, his 2 might be headshots, but I've killed 4, 5, 6 enemies. And probably fired some extra arrows as well. Where you need to be careful with that is firing arrows all the way down very long corridors and potentially alerting enemies. So as I said, so fire slow time, fire slow time, fire slow time. And note how I'm not doing this and then firing. I'm not holding it there. I'm drawing it to maximum and loosing. So I am increasing my rate of fire to make sure that I can slow time a lot. And in my ever humble opinion, no pie, that's how I think that's the best way to do it. And the thing is, I've seen people basically say, oh, it's kind of legal cheating was the best one that I heard. It's like, no. It's part of the game. It's a mechanic within the game. It's actually in the tutorial, and it tells you to use it in the way that it is deemed. Fact of the matter is, using it early game may look like cheating. You need it in later game. There's a reason why the people that asked for purist can't get any further than cycle 12, because you have so much to deal with at cycle 12, and enemies have so much fucking health. Or maybe not cycle 12. I think LG was able to get a lot further. But then he plays a very patient and a very tactical game where he's kind of playing the game in slow time without the ability to put it into slow time. Pass through, bastard. But yeah, K2 is also right. You do get into a rhythm. You can then use that rhythm to do what I'm doing and juggle, if you can get the headshots, juggle multiple enemies. And the benefit of this as well is, although the enemies, although to you it looks like you're slowing the world, to the enemy it looks like you are speeding up. Like, you know, there's a reason why that song comes on when Quicksilver does his slow time routine and he's traveling at normal speed and everybody looks like they're in super slow motion, but in reality it's the other way around. They're all traveling normally and he's super fast. And so it's what we're doing here. We're putting the game into slow time and traveling basically super fast. Now, did you hear that guy's strikes on my back and how I didn't take any damage? That was something I said I wasn't going to do earlier. It makes taking ghosts out in smaller than normal horde numbers a lot easier as well, because you have to be very accurate with ghosts. But if you can put 3 arrows in their general chest area as they're closing in on you each time, and do so because you've got the slow time, makes ghosts an easier enemy to take out as well. The one thing, yes, you can do it with the crossbow. However, it's kind of easier on the crossbow, because with the crossbow you can load a bolt onto the crossbow and have it ready and then put the game into slow time. It's for people who have developed a very good rhythm on the bow, myself included. It is very difficult to get that style and that sort of rhythm on the crossbow. I'd even go as far as to say impossible. I don't see even any of the top players rapid firing the crossbow with slow time. The reason why I've never really developed that rhythm is because you can fire the crossbow incredibly fast and you can just hose everything down with lots and lots and lots of... Ooh, thought there was some more. As you should be. Ooh. Oh, basically, I mean, getting that fast yet. Hey, these are the jewels that you should not be having I should not be engaging this guy at this range in an attempt to get headshots. The simple reason being is because he's a better shot than I can ever be, because he's got AI assisted, like, right, see if I can show you. Look at that. He can fire almost 45 degrees off angle and hit exactly where I was. But therein lies another lesson as well, is they're always aiming for either where you are standing, if you are static, or they lead to where you are, if you are moving, which I will not demonstrate on a run like this where I could die in 2 hits. Thank you very much. So, let me just check the other thing as well. But yeah, and I do the same as well. There's lots of games where I find myself still pressing the button between shots. I think I do it on Dungeons of Eternity, even though it doesn't work. It's a very difficult habit to get out of. But as I say, it will work on the crossbow, but you would be better off, especially in earlier cycles, using the crossbow in a rapid fire function. But the benefit of the crossbow is, as I said, you can draw a bolt, put the game into slow time, aim, release slow time, and then fire the bolt, and then put the game back into slow time as well. So with the crossbow, it requires more button presses and more dexterity than the bow does, and it doesn't quite have that same rhythm of fire button, fire button, fire button, fire button. It's kind of button, let go load button, aim, let go button, fire, press button, and then you repeat the process again. So it isn't quite as intuitive as what we have on the old bow. Hello. Oh, where's the other one? You definitely should. And as I said, you know, if you play Siege of Heaven, happy days. That is a great place to work on your slow time skills. If you don't, and you get your slow time skills through the main game, it used to be worse, Al. They used to be able to do it from backwards. Cupids used to be able to do it as well. No, yeah, the one thing that I will say, yeah, the purgatory one, you're not wrong, K2. What I found worked for me is you just have to put your thumb on the control stick and will it not to move. Even I found that one difficult. There was plenty of times where I was like, oh, fuck. I mean, I even did it live tonight. I was like, fuck, I've checked my arrows. Can't do that. So I do wish there was a separate button for changing arrows to slow time. It would still be the same process, because a lot of the time, as was said, you can catch the wrong arrow when you are going from one to another, and that's a separate problem. But then, you know, you're then starting to border on the factor of, you know, maybe it would then be a little bit too powerful if there was a button specifically for it, but we kind of already have that at the moment. So maybe it would be a bit confusing to change arrows on the fly. I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions. But then, as I said, there's a lot of people that will think, like, you know, that level of slow time that I'm doing it to. And there's people that are better at it than I am. Doing it to that, like, LG's ridiculously good at slow time. So's Cam on the crossbow as well, I might add, and Big Smith, and Elite Jonathan, and lots of others. The Fish is going to be ridiculously good. I've never seen it really, but I'm sure he's ridiculously good on the slow time as well. But then that kind of segues into another nice thing. Oh, there you go. Well, that I'd say that's the way to do it, Liz. Because then you can work on your slow time game in a low stress environment, if you can call Siege of Heaven low stress, because there is the stress of them getting through the gate and you trying to kill them before they get there. But at least they're not trying to, you know, enter your mouth and claw out your innards. That's another level of stress, I feel. So, but yeah, Siege of Heaven, Richard, if you are looking for a place to practice it, I would have said is best. But if you've already got a fundamental knowledge of it, start using it now. The other big piece of advice I would say is it is never, ever in this game too early to start learning how to slow time. In fact, if it can be the first thing that you can master, you will go very, very far in this game, let me tell you. It's one thing that you will always have in this game from the very start of the game that is incredibly powerful. It's why I think it is probably the most powerful arrow, even though it's not technically an arrow, the most powerful ability, but also the most powerful arrow we have in the game is slow time. Even though, again, it's not an arrow. It's not an arrow. Well, look at that. Look how... yeah, no worries, Richard. Look at how I managed to quite easily juggle 3 large health pool enemies, line up my headshots and them, and only one of them started making his run. He didn't even get his sword out. He didn't even pull an arrow on me. And if you can avoid enemies getting to the point where they can damage you, well, that's how you don't take damage. And that's how winning is done. Not taking damage. Survivability. Now, let's see if we can... This isn't a great way to take this orphan out, but I don't think she can see us from here. Let's do one of those, one of those. I'm playing this very safe here, by the way. Freezing enemies that I don't really need to, and the reason being is because we've got a Winter's Bite back at the Reliquary. Let's kill the enemies that are around, though. And look how far away she is from us now. See the glow? She's now ready to teleport. The weird thing with orphans is if I now teleport on top of her, she is forced to stop. She can then at that point either teleport away or run. And note that dusty glow? That shows the direction, if I wasn't able to see her, in which way she's teleported. Again, close to her, she's either forced to teleport or run. And in slow time, because that's what I'm doing, you can see the trail. If you have the game in normal time, the trail disappears very quickly. I'm also using slow time to, again, artificially increase my rate of fire so that I can get more shots on the orphan as it's inevitably going to run away. So, what that was all leading on to... maybe. The thing is, Liz, I will show off roofing the orphan at some point in the future. But, I mean, I could do. If you'd have said that earlier, I would have. In fact, I haven't actually tried since Season 5, I don't think. Or maybe I did do it in Season 6, I can't remember. I don't think they'll have taken it out of the game for a moment. Just in case, if anyone was wondering what roofing the orphan is, I mean, you can use chloroform. There's lots of other drugs out there on the marketplace. No, so it is basically... We found, I think it was our own Ray S that got me onto the line of working out how orphans work. And that basically what we've now theory crafted is that within an aura of an orphan raising away, if you can be above them and within that aura, you can make them stop doing it when they get within... You know how I stopped her teleporting by getting close to her? You can do that while she's mid-teleport. And so if she started teleporting and we got on top of the roof directly above her, she would teleport up to leave the level as far as here and then would have to stop because I'm in the way. And then that then puts her on the roof, which... It's more of a party trick than an actual useful tactic or technique. I think you have to either do a lot of things wrong for it to be useful, or you have to create a scenario where it's just a bit of icing on the cake. You know, if I'd cleared that entire area out and then put her onto the roof, why am I putting her onto the roof? Kind of just to show you guys that you can do it. So, there is the argument that you know, she would potentially run all the way to the end of there, and I could hit her from a long range. But even then, that's not... Oh, I've got loads of Idu party tricks, KT. But... And icebreakers as well at IDU parties. I've got loads of those as well. But yeah. All part of the repertoire. Can't have a lot... Excuse me. Can't have a lot of IDU excuses if you don't have a lot of IDU tricks and icebreakers. Where the fuck's that arrow from? Can't see it. Oh well, carry on. Carry on like it didn't happen. Probably got enough cover. I think it's that. Who is shooting? It's not you. You weren't shooting. Oh, maybe it's one of those... Oh, it's you. So, the other thing that is very useful to know within this game as well. We've talked about the slow game. It is, in my humble opinion, as always, humble opinion, that you must also possess a fast game. So, it's part of the reason why, God rest its soul, I miss the runner sigil, because it gave me a competitive place to practice my fast game. Now, what's the point of having a fast game when you can put the game into slow time as much and as often as you want to? That's a great question. And my answer is, well, tournaments. First and foremost, you want to win tournaments. Well, that's the going way of things. You're not supposed to be putting the game into slow time because that goes against your timer that you have for the tournaments. And so someone who can operate without the timer and without slowing down the timer with slow time will be better and score higher than somebody who has to rely on it. Secondly, there are times where you have to be quick. You have to have that speed of thought, and doing so under pressure whilst, you know, doing lots and lots of actions. Like, you can still be fast whilst doing slow time. So, you know, I can still fire fast, but there's elements as well to it. Like, for instance, that I just showed off, being able to teleport from one place to another and still firing at targets is another good skill. Again, mainly for tournaments, but we do find ourselves in other places within this game where you are timed. There are achievements that you will have to unlock. The other thing, I suppose, as well, is if you can do things in fast time, then you can make the game feel a lot easier for yourself, knowing that you could fall back on. And the final reason, well, you don't get slow time in purists, but, you know, I'm no purist. You need to go and talk to a proper purist if you want to know the answers as to why that's fun. Anyway, right, we almost missed the pit. That could be a good place to finish the run, couldn't it? And talking about death here more than anything else. Right, she had a winter's bite, and I think there's one in here. So I can make... Yeah, there's another winter's bite here. No, that's... Yeah. And, well, yeah, you're not risking a run and you're saving yourself time, you know, because that's one thing that we can't buy these days. And when you go in for 1,701 ghosts, you know, that's not a respecter of time amount of fucking ghosts, is it? So, right, we do need to do this one in good speed, and this is the Pit of Immolation. Thankfully, there is no Orphan to go for. Hopefully, there is a... it's definitely skeleton... skeleton something. Oh, fucking hell. Skeleton archers. Brilliant. How did you... Where did you do... What? So we are going to have to be quick here. Again, I don't know for certain which timer or which of the two timers this one would go off of. We need to do this in both no hits and... Where have you teleported? Was that in behind me? Yes, it was. Prick. Note how he definitely teleported in behind me. And this is one of the things that makes skeleton archers pricks. So, now there is no Orphan in this level, but I'm hoping to unlock it by being quick here. I am using slow time because doing this fast isn't as important as doing it perfectly. Doing it perfectly is a harder achievement. I'm being greedy and trying to get both. As I have said previously, often on your path to get multiple achievements, you'll end up getting none of them. So don't do, in this circumstance, what Donnie Don't is doing. If that makes sense. But I'm trying to get them all, and I'm trying to get them now. So, and we've got enough winter's bikes outside. You didn't need a winter's bike. Got enough winter's bikes outside of the level where we can completely replenish going into Anakim. So that's why I'm trying to. If I was doing this properly and 4 speed to get the timing achievement, I would A, be doing it in cycle 1, I would not be worrying about taking hits, and I would be not using slow time, because we know these things go against you for the purposes of I also wouldn't be using special arrows this liberally either, but needs must. Are you all down here? I bet you bloody are. Yes, you are. Alright, keep going, keep going, keep going. Go, 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 go. Because I can't remember what the timing is on this one. But we haven't got long. Note as well how I'm trying to... Oh, that was bad. That's bad. That's bad. We're only on cycle 6, so they're not too fast. Where's that ghost gone? There she is. Go on, reposition so I can get a shot on you, dickhead. Uh-oh, that's a bad teleport arrow. Thank you. Shit. Right, let's ice all of you up. Kill you first. Kill you next. Then you. Trying to do my best to remember the order in which I froze them. There's the pit open. I think that means we got the time trial one done. But there's still the perfect achievement to get. I think this one's actually not too bad. It's something like 9 minutes, which, considering the amount of enemies that we actually have to kill down here to get the pit entrance open, isn't all that many. So yeah, that is probably part of the reason. So if you have a fast game and you are incredibly good at slow time, you can combine the two to become, well, I don't know, what I'm doing, I guess. Is it 7, is it? Cool. But yeah, that one is, again, I've never really timed it, but that is one that I don't think is affected by slow time. There we go. Hello, Axel. Well, yeah, you're kind of in the wrong stream, mate. This is In Death Unchained, and this one is not a multiplayer. You can join, but you'll want to be after Saturdays. Yeah, no worries, mate. No, this one isn't multiplayer at the moment, but we'll be, as I said, we'll be doing Dungeons of Eternity on Saturday. So I love your enthusiasm. Come back on Saturday. Cheers, Cynthia. Right, let's go and get the Winter's Bite. But yeah, dude, does not matter about your level for the purposes of Dungeons of Eternity. It doesn't matter. We can make the game as hard or as easy Yeah, no worries, dude. If you like Dungeons of Eternity and you like either the archery or the crossbow element in it, this is the reason why I like that style of game. This game's been out for a very long time and arguably still has more content in. I know Dungeons of Eternity has only just come out, but still has probably magnitudes more content than Dungeons of Eternity has. And Dungeons of Eternity has a lot of bloody content. And there we go. Look at that, chat. 65%, 91 achievements done. There's one more that we can definitely get tonight. After that, we're starting to get to sticky territory. Very sticky. And very long away territory. I'd like to think there's another 9 achievements here that I can get in good time. But a lot of them are just going to take a long time. A long time. Maybe not so long. 23, about another 10, so another 2 cycles worth of Orphans. That's just going to take ages. That one's going to take a long time. I'm not getting that. Another maybe 2,000 of those. A load more ghosts. We'll probably be able to get that one because you get, well, it's probably only about 15 ghosts per pit. So hopefully for those of you who are thinking, nah, I can't start from 0%, and I've known people that are struggling to get achievements unlocked in their main game that have been able to target them and unlock them early in their second profile and then take their second profile on to become better than their first. So those are definitely factors. Thank you very much for joining us, Liz. See you later. Ooh, right. Let's go and get old Anakim down. And then we'll have a little review and we'll probably call it a night there. What are we? Yes, 10 past 11. Right. Let's get Anakim done. Get that achievement. And then I'm done. Run complete. But we are very much getting to danger territory now. Although I haven't got any risky achievements to go after anymore. I've got all the ones that require me to do perfect. I've got most of the ones, with the exception of Pit of Despair. And what else? Pit of Despair and the one that would normally allow me to unlock the runner's routine, or Mortal, as it's now been renamed to. I thought that was a bit shit as well, that they made it so that the same achievement needed to be done to unlock Mortal as was Runner. Because let's face it, the way that you unlock Purist is how you play Purist. The way that you unlock Fletcher is kinda to do with how the Fletcher sigil works. The way that you unlock Mortal is fucking nothing to do with how Mortal works. So anyway, I'll keep complaining until they bring it back, although we've been told that they can't, so, or they won't. I don't know, I still think they should rotate them, but I still don't see why we can't have all 4 myself personally. Hello, how are you doing? Would you like an arrow to the face? Yeah, okay, have another. So let's just get... But so this is part and parcel of what I'm talking about as far as the fast game is concerned. If you can move around the level fast whilst manipulating your slow time as well, then you're really onto something there. Then you can start bordering into, or then you can start excelling in tournaments. And also remember as well, I mean, it's not worth practicing for this purpose, but remember as well that by going fast and using slow time is the best way to up your executioner bonus. Now, the problem with the executioner bonus, that being that there is a bonus score for you killing enemies quickly consecutively, It doesn't matter about missed arrows or anything, it's just about killing quickly. But like with Siege of Heaven, you can slow that timer down with slow time. Now, the reason why I haven't used that as part of a reason to develop your fast game is, I'll be honest with you, the amount of misses of headshots that you will incur by trying to go fast whilst, you know, also getting headshots will kind of negate. But the long and the short of it is the executioner bonus in this game has not got or ever received any love, in that the amount of score that you get for doing the executioner bonus side of things is kind of pathetic in the long run. For tournaments, it's what makes or breaks your score and gets you into the top of the top 10. You're often now in tournaments that are based on these, like, killing lots of things quickly and scoring high. In tournaments now, the executioner bonus is nearly always higher than the marksman bonus. But as far as the long game is, it's basically, what do you think is going to be easier to do over a very long period of time? Slow, methodical, long range, or quick, fast headshots? It's slow, methodical, long range all day. If you can do both, long distance headshots, manipulating slow time, and staying within the executioner bonus, you are a better player than me, and you'll probably die very quickly. So, but that's not to say it isn't doable. It definitely is. Right, let's try and do Anakim properly. So, launch that arrow just as he's turning. We're now doing the damage to him. Ice you, ice you. Try and kill these guys before the other ones spawn if we can. Ice you, ice you, ice you. Note how he is from the card. No, he's from the Saint whatever it is. He's from the Order of the Black Cardinals, or whatever it is, Archer equivalent of. And we also had a red one there as well. And as I said, that's because I believe the monks work independently on Anakim in relation to our achievements. Ooh, I should show you another tactic here, really, shouldn't I? What do we do about all of those knights? What could we do? I'll show you. As long... So here's a... So this is the Night Lock. Now this technique, I believe, was developed by Camille, I think. And basically what it is do not kill... This is for higher cycle Anakim as well. Do not kill any abominations. Because at these higher cycles, the big threat is alerting those knights and then them just not letting up on you fucking ever. The tactic that we're going for here is do not kill any of the abominations. You can kill Anakim, that's fine. You can kill the archers, that's fine. But do not kill any of the abominations. Instead, I'm trying to wait for him to come after me before I teleport. Instead, check this out. We are just going to kill the knights. Where's the last one? There's 4 on cycle 6. I believe there's 5 on cycle 7. And then that's the maximum. And we're actually going to kill these guys. And the reason being is because as long as we just kill the knights and don't kill anything else, no more knights will spawn. Check it out. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000, 8 1000, 9 1000, 10 1000. 10 seconds since I killed those knights. Normally those knights, whether they've been alerted or not, once killed, respawn every kind of like 8 seconds in and around Anakim. So when you get to this later stage, this is another very valid strategy. The only problem that I currently have with this strategy is I haven't got Hand of God, and abominations do not take much damage to kill. If I now accidentally kill just one of these abominations, all 4 knights will spawn on Anakim. This is a really good technique if you have Hand of God. Now, let's get another one of those into him, and remember not to kill the abominations. There are other tactics that we can do, like shield bashing, but I do not want to have to do that, because you can knock an abomination on its arse for a very long time with the shield bash. There we go. 1, 2, and you've gone there. Let's kill you quick. You there. Move a bit. So, dangerous, but I like to shield slam in those sort of circumstances. So you'll see that I did this, and the reason being is because it blocks the hit and staggers him, which is exactly what I wanted. Or rather, didn't stagger him, it knocked him onto the floor. And that's just something that I do. Very special in that regard. So it feels cool to do. Block and slam. Right, let's get Anakim over here. You can also stagger them with a tiny little draw shot. Note with the abomination, doesn't matter where you hit them or how hard you hit them, they take ages to recover from an arrow. But we do not, as you've seen, we do not want to be playing games with the shield, because we all know how reliable the shield can be when it comes to these sort of things. Come on, spawn your next wave, you prick. Put some extra in him just to quicken it along. And then that'll probably be enough to summon them. No. Here's the other advantage as well of there being no knights running around. Whilst we're in the alcove, or on top of these pedestals, they don't move. They don't go anywhere. At much higher cycles, you can even get away with freezing them, and they won't die from the freeze damage, which can be incredibly useful also. That should spawn them. Let's get back into here. No? Some more then? One more? Yeah, there we go. Ice. Ice. One there. And I think... Now this is the 4th wave, so there should have been 5. That tells me that there's 2 more round the corner. And we should really wait for them, but I think I can do enough damage to you before you get me. Note how he still slides forward a little bit, even though he's staggering. And there you go. So that's another technique, and that one, the night locking side of things, that's when you are ready to graduate from... So the whole point of doing all of this is or the original point of doing all of that palaver was to get Anakim low enough in life so that you could expend an entire quiver of Cataclysm on him and blow him up. Basically a quick kill. You can't do that in the higher cycles because he's got too much life, so you need to take his life down in a controlled fashion until you can do enough damage to kind of KO him in one. At later cycles, it doesn't matter how low you get his life, you can't really KO him in one, so then that's where this whole Nightlock thing was developed. And the fact of the matter is, to kill those knights, to freeze them and then kill them quickly is the name of the game. And if anybody would like to answer the question, what does more damage, Cataclysm times 5 or Volley times 5? The answer is Volley times 5, because it counts as 5 full headshots with bonus damage, whereas Cataclysm does about, I think it's 4,000 plus 1 explosion, which isn't as much. There's not a lot in it, but there is a difference between Volley 5 and Cataclysm. So that's why when you start getting magnitudes again in cycles, you change from your Cataclysm quiver to your Volley quiver. It's also really good for Orphan assassinations as well. It's the best one for like one shot in lower life orphans. The big reason why you would use Volley 5, so it isn't just that it does a bit more damage than a Cataclysm, it also doesn't fuck around with the whole slow time side of things, like Cataclysm puts the world into slow time. That doesn't matter so much, but it's also because you get fucking loads and loads of Volley 5s in the quiver. I think on a normal quiver with Volley 5s, I think you get something like 77 in the quiver, which means that you can kill 3 times the amount of enemies at close range with headshots quickly that have huge life than you can with Cataclysm times 5. So if you ever thought, like, hang on, why are people using Volley 5? Surely Cataclysm times 5 is better. In early cycles, yes. In light cycles, if you're doing things correctly, no. So, that's a nice percentage to land on, isn't it? I'd like to get to 69%. I think you'd all like to see me get to 69%. Don't even know how many achievements that would be. I'm not going to work it out either. But 92 out of 139. It's not bad. There's still some achievements that are within... I mean, technically everything is within our range, but the problem that we're going to get now is it's just going to take a very long time, because the enemies that we need to kill hundreds, nigh thousands of, this one here, are now starting to get more and more health. We also have the problem that, again, as we advance down the cycles, there is more and more chance that that 1 or 2 stray arrows ends the run. But I'm sure we've got at least one more episode here. I'm sure I can get a couple more clicks. But yeah, they will not be coming thick and fast within the next stream. And on that bombshell, we'll end it there. Thank you all very much for joining me. As always, this has been In Death Unchained on the Quest 3. I have been Silver Tongue Devil. Good night.